This all in a happy Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout. Do you hear an echo or something? Or is that just me?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that?
We've never had an echo in here before or something.
I don't hear an echo.
I'm sure it's my fault.
Echo?
No, I feel like there's like almost like a feedback. I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing it. Matt Iwanyk with you here. No, I'm hearing it. Well, whatever. You two travel with us for a bit. And now, how do you want to be referred to today? Dash in the park? Dash? What's the easiest way to refer to you?
Yeah, sure, Dash.
Dash is here. Dash is, he's part of OilersLive and the Heavy Hockey Network, which you can catch live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk as they are friends of EST. You guys actually going live tonight at 5 o'clock. I don't know if you were told that because Michael emailed me today.
I was coming in, yeah.
Perfect. You'll be on live at 5. Oiler fans will also know you guys, and we will get to this in a bit because on Friday night, you guys broke it first. You guys had the changes with the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson being out. So good on you. We will get into that right away here. But before we started, I went, you boys ready to go? And without hesitation, the two of you, the exact same time, I was born ready.
I was born ready. Whoa.
You guys are just
Do we just become best friends?
I think we just became best friends.
You guys are best friends. It's
You want
just
to go
that
play
simple.
karate in the garage? Yep.
Nice shirt, by the way, too. The hip.
Thanks, man. Yeah, one of the best, if not the best, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Canadian
up
man?
there.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
For sure.
That's a good question.
Maybe best of all time.
I think up there.
Well, they're up there. Like,
Yeah.
there's no...
Yeah.
Where the conversation isn't, they're not low, but like there's bands. Rush will get some
Rush is
conversation.
up there.
The band.
The band. Do you guys, the Great Big Sea, are they up there? No? Is that a little?
I think
or are
for
they
some
lesser?
people
They're
they would be
lesser?
up there.
No, they're up
No?
there for me. Bare Naked Ladies as well. I like.
Oh, I don't think they're as high up on the
Oh.
Canadian list.
What about that band that was at the Heritage Classic? I hear they're pretty popular.
Oh, yeah. Forgot
Was it
about
Metallica?
them.
We
What were they
put them
called?
there.
Was it Metallica?
Would we
Yeah, it
put
was
Nickelback? I guess when we're talking about the greatest Canadian bands ever, I guess Nickelback kind of would have to be part of it.
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
The unpopular vote, but
They sell
How do they not get a
albums.
vote?
They sell out arenas.
sell
They're
it.
popular worldwide.
If they didn't have that, like, oh, let's hate on them just for fun, like they'd
Yeah.
they'd be just massive, and they're already just worldwide massive. But they even joke around about it. Oh, people hate us. That seems to be the thing. I don't know why. They don't know why. No one knows why. But they got great music. Yeah, I love their music.
I think it's because Canadians, when it comes to musical acts, hate other Canadians who
Yeah.
do well globally.
Yeah, that's
We
fair.
rip on a lot of Canadians that do.
Yeah, no,
dare you sell
those-
out to the United
Well,
States.
those
of America.
bastards.
Well, that's the like Justin Bieber isn't exactly popular.
good point.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like
true.
I don't know, people rip on Celine Dion in times and things like that. But then what's one of the reasons we love Tragically Hip? Because they never made it big worldwide, and they became our band.
Yeah,
ours.
that's good. That's true. Yeah,
true.
That's a good point.
So, but like actor-wise, we love actors and actresses and stuff that go big. We praise them. We go, they're
Yeah,
the greatest
that's
thing
true.
ever.
It's
But
something
musicians,
about-
we don't. We hate musicians that do good things.
yeah, it's weird.
Canada's born, 10 of the top 20 comedians that are...
Oh,
I
100%.
mean, you look at some of the, right from John Candy and Mike Myers, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of high-level Canadian comedians that have made it.
Jim Carrey? Is Jim Carrey Canadian?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's
Nice.
Canadian.
Okay, let's go.
He's one of ours. Martin Short.
Yes, let's go.
There are people. That's
You're right. They can make it big worldwide.
Yeah.
And
and we love them. We hug them.
Ryan
we say
Reynolds,
that they're ours.
he's more movie famous, but everyone's like,
You know
yes,
what I
let's
love
go.
about
He's
Ryan-
Canadian.
I love that Ryan Reynolds still is fully embracing his Canadian roots
Yes.
and stuff with things.
I like that he tried to buy the Senators.
As he should be.
Which
I kind of wish that would have turned out.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
I think if you're the NHL, you have to try to get that done as long as the money's there. Like that is the most important. You need solid foundation, and by all accounts, they had it. I think you need that just for the star power to be around the National Hockey League of Ryan Reynolds. We're seeing what he did with Wrexham.
Yeah.
He's what?
I was just going to say, yeah.
Which he was Deadpool.
Yeah,
Oh,
Deadpool.
yeah, they missed
yeah.
out on Deadpool opportunities to promote.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Deadpool promoting an NHL team in a
That
commercial?
would have been
or something?
huge.
Americans
Deadpool
love him.
dropping the puck? What more could you want?
Totally.
That's the stuff that I feel like the NHL really dropped the ball there because I think any other
Yeah.
league would be almost lucky to have the star power that is Ryan Reynolds connected to you. And
Yes.
here's this guy going, I want in.
Yeah.
I want to be there. He'd be at games
sure.
occasionally.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
And if he made it there, we'd probably still have Stales.
Yeah, maybe.
Would have that been the right guy though?
I don't know.
That I guess we're gonna find out and
don't
see. But yeah, you're right though, because he would have still been here.
Connection wouldn't have been there to
And
the ownership. Staios would still be
Would
here.
Jeff Jackson
Yeah.
then be here? And if there's no Jeff Jackson, here's Jay Woodcroft, still the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, gosh.
The whole
The
trickle
trickle
effect
down.
of the NHL not giving the Sens to Ryan Reynolds is connected right here to Edmonton.
Yeah, we just
Jay Woodcroft can blame Ryan Reynolds not putting up enough dough.
Everyone rips on Gary Bettman for wanting the Oilers to do better, doing things against them. That was his whole plan. We've now figured it out. In his way, Gary Bettman used the opportunity to hurt the Edmonton Oilers by not giving Ryan Reynolds the Sens franchise and going to Michael Andlauer.
Book
Yeah.
it.
That's what it is now.
That's well said.
It's been done.
We just
facts.
We just
figured it out.
We just broke it here. EST headquarters.
That's all heavy hockey does is break stories.
Yeah, let's go.
This is like one of those like murder mystery type thing, but we solved it.
we
True
just
Crimes
did.
podcast, NHL podcast. We just figured it out. Like we find the crimes in the National Hockey League now.
That's awesome.
That's what EST Hangout is all
Like a
about.
panic room, and the entire key was Ryan Reynolds in this thing.
Gary Bettman is fuming right now because he's going, they're on to us. They're on to us.
I mean, he listens every day. He's got to be angry.
I know
for
he does.
today with this.
He
show.
was listening for this whole week probably because he wanted to see the pain of the Edmonton Oilers because that's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
And now he's devastated that we figured it out.
Wakes him up in the morning.
In fact, Gary Bettman is our connection. He's the one who led us to the breaking story.
Let's actually get to that breaking story. We got lots to get to here on the EST Hangout, including the Oilers win against the Islanders last night, 4-1. But because I mentioned you guys broke the news, let's get into Movers and Shakers, brought to you by Marco and Mike Realty. Realty One Group insiders, buying or selling, give Marco and Mike the old PTO contract and let them prove to you why they're the best team for the job. You won't be disappointed. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, visit marcoandmike.com for more information on the dynamic duo. So, congratulations again on the big story.
Bravo,
Actually,
bravo.
So, Jay out, Dave Manson out, Chris Knobloch in, as well as Paul Coffey. You guys also had that Paul Coffey connected to all this as well. Ken Holland, though, what you had, and you were right. People were saying, "Is he going to be out?" Or something? And you said the out isn't fired. I'd let you clarify, because on Friday you guys also had him out.
Wording is obviously careful in those
Yep.
situations. It took us 10 minutes to find the story and 4 hours to substantiate it and another 2 hours to figure out how we were going to post it. It's when you have 80% of the information or 90% of the information, maybe sometimes you've got to be a little careful on how you word things. So my understanding was that Coffey was in a certain role and that Gully would be staying. So, there's a little bit of guesswork when it comes to that sort of stuff. And the logical explanation would be that Coff steps in for maybe interim role in a management, and Gully stays as maybe an interim coaching. Now, we don't know. We can speculate. Were they out for Gallant? Were they out for another coach? Was Knobloch their first choice? I don't, maybe we'll never know. But I think that took a few days to figure out. So, it was just a matter of trying to figure out the way that the pieces on the chessboard would kind of fall. We weren't wrong. Coffey was part of it.
Well, that was the whole thing. He was involved in this all.
And you talk, I don't think that he mentioned, I told my wife at 6:30 p.m. I don't think he slips that time in by accident. I think he was trying to state that I knew about this before the Seattle game. And I think we knew that too. So it was a matter of what role he was going to take. And I do think that assistant coaching role probably did come on last minute-ish, 11th hour-ish. And, we're not going to know that as well. So ultimately, we took a bit of a guess thinking that Holland would be out as a decision maker. I just wasn't confident in wording it that way. With 7 months to retirement, it's pretty hard to take a guy with the resume of Ken Holland and kick him to the curb, right? I think that
That's fair.
Pretty, I shouldn't say obvious, I guess, but I think it's just the right move to be able to keep him in the organization. And if he's not making moves in anymore and making those prime decisions, then who cares anyways, right? Really, you can give him a new fancy title like VP of NHL record guide checking or something.
They'll give him something.
Give him another role to go in the corner and answer some phones or whatever. But that press conference made it pretty clear to me he's not as involved in decision making as he used to be. Is that fair to say?
Not at all. Yeah, totally. It's totally fair. Like I was like just baffled, still am. And just going from Connor's, what he said after his practice yesterday, I was shocked. Like I had no idea this was gonna. And then Kenny's, it's a meme. I've seen so many memes now, and like they're just like one thing, like Spin Chicklets. They posted the video out. Everyone's seen the video. It's like, yeah, like I had talked to some of the players. It pans to Jackson, and he's like, I haven't talked to any of the players. And then Connor's like, no, like I was surprised. So it's like, it's a lot of people in Edmonton are confused, like including myself. But it's just it doesn't make any sense. I have no idea. Like, where was he told to say that? Was he like, I don't get it. I'm still baffled by.
So one thing we know about Ken Holland is he likes to talk.
Yes.
Like he doesn't have media veils ever where he's very short answered, tight lipped. He likes to talk, and more so than probably he should.
More honest.
Yeah.
And that I think was a situation there where like, look, you could look at what Ken Holland said in many different ways. He says, I spoke to veterans, but he didn't necessarily say, I spoke to them specifically about, do you want a coaching change or not? Or if I'm going to bring Kirsten Knobloch in or not, do you want that? Like, and then Jeff Jackson saying they weren't consulted on this decision.
Right.
There can be a truth to both of those.
Yeah, I think those two comments can be mutually exclusive, right? I think they can both be true.
It's just optic-wise, it looks very poor to have one guy who is apparently part of the big decision making here going, yeah, I spoke to everyone. And then the other guy going, nope, we didn't speak to anyone. And that right there is where the issue was that the Edmonton Oilers came from. Optics is a big thing.
When Tommy asked that question, before Ken Holland said a word, Jeff Jackson's head was already going.
Yeah.
Holland just needed to do one of those and read the room and realize that Jeff was already answering that question.
Well, it wasn't even that he answered also the way he did. He ended with oh yeah, and Jeff knows Connor better than I do, so I'll let him answer that part of it. Like completely teeing it up for Jeff to be like, yeah, no, I spoke to Connor about this. And it's like, no, opposite way, Ken. Opposite way.
Actually, no, you didn't.
Totally. Yeah. You could see that Holland was like, I've talked myself into a corner here. Jeff, what
Not again.
Yeah. I've said too much.
But and based on what Elliot Freeman has said, you watch that press conference, I don't care what they say that it was a group decision or whatever. It's not Ken Holland's decision.
No, it's
It
not.
also can't be, because let's go with the idea that Ken was very much involved in this. He made this decision. Why are you letting a GM that doesn't have a contract after this year make that big of a seismic of a move?
Oilers be Oilers.
Yeah.
What happened with Koskinen?
Yeah.
Well, right, but one of the stories with that is it was a lot of people in the management also wanted to sign Koskinen. It wasn't just Peter Chiarelli. It was the group around that agreed that Koskinen should be signed.
Fair.
But that's where I go, like the Oilers, maybe I'm being naive here in a sense. They can't be crazy enough to allow a lame duck GM to make that type of organizational decision, which then in turns means he was just there to be there. They don't want to disrespect the name of Ken Holland, and it's really Jeff Jackson's team.
I think the message was said between the lines when Jackson talked about, look, we're planning for the future. This is a move that all of those were, this is my guy that I'm placing because of my strategy and my vision. Like, change the words around, and he's kind of saying the same thing, right? Like, I think he said, I made this decision without really saying those words.
Yeah.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Mott's Clamato, a Caesar. There's no better way to hang out than with having a Mott's Clamato Caesar.
Look at him.
The pickled bean is the one that's my favorite, not going to lie.
Yeah, they're all solid.
Did they make the right move in what they did in your eyes?
Maybe.
Is this a wait and see?
Yeah.
I didn't want to see Woody gone, I'll tell you that. Dusty and Tommy nailed it yesterday, I think. It was turning around anyways. There's no way that the puck luck is going to stay the way it is. There's no way that the expected goals for and against aren't going to balance out. The shooting percentage isn't going to stay that low. We just have two of the best players in the world that are stifled. It's not going to remain for that. Who would have put that Connor McDavid would be at 124th in league scoring at this point in time? That pace is going to continue. I don't know. I was at the game last night. It was very eerily reminiscent of when Woody first started. Like, I don't want to ruffle the feathers. I don't want to change too much. Let's just kind of play the lines and see what happens. And you know what? I think that was what that team needed anyways, right? Was to not be in the blender and to have some consistency and build some chemistry. So I don't know, by doing very little, he did the right thing. Is it going to work out? I don't know. Is that the right decision? We'll see.
Yeah, that's one thing that was nice to see. Like first time in forever, like a full 60 minutes of like lines, like consistently. Like didn't change it up much until Holloway got injured, but it was as far as
Hallwell.
yeah, yeah. Like McDavid said it. He didn't lose the room, and you know, like you said, like the pucks were eventually going to start going in. I don't think. I thought it was, you know, the Seattle. It was a good game, and that's why it was just interesting after a win. I can't remember any time, you know, clearly they did something during the week, right? But it was surprising to me. And then just watching from the Oilers Plus, what Jay said during the Heritage Classic, like after the big W against the Flames, like he was really rallying the troops. Like you could tell the boys were listening. They were like, he spoke to them so well. He was a player's coach, and they really, really got that from him. So can they get that from Knobloch? Maybe, but it's I don't know. It was so surprising, right? Like the Dave Tippett was kind of expected. This one was like, whoa, like this is crazy, right? So I don't know. But that being said, Knobloch, like I like what he had to say. He seems like a player's coach as well. I think that goes a long way with these players. So, yeah.
Yeah, the question I have in there too is often when you go from a player's coach, there's that cycle, right? You get that hard ass that comes in and whips everybody, and they get sick of being whipped, so they need
go back the other way.
Player's coach to get coddled for a little while. Going from player's coach to player's coach, you know, I even heard a lot of Bruce Boudreau banter out there, and you know, you're going to go from a coach that has very little accountability to a coach that has zero accountability.
Yeah, Bruce Boudreau never made sense to me.
Me either.
That's that you get the little short-term bump,
right,
but then everything else comes back. I was into the Gerard Gallant camp. I was there.
Me too.
But that was but I also know that in 2 years we're having this press conference again saying Gallant's gone and you need that player's coach to come in because the room is tired of them. But it gets you this season and next year that kick in the butt to get going. And that's where I'm very intrigued with Chris. Like, you should have a coach's bump here for a little bit. I don't think we saw it through the early parts of yesterday's game necessarily.
I almost I threw up my water bottle. I'm like, oh, here we go again. And I just sat back. I'm like, what's going on? Oh gosh.
Yeah. But when there is those moments where there's maybe a little treading of water, like where it looks like maybe it's going to get a little rocky, are they going to respond to Chris? And that's the question I would have. And I don't know. And is Paul Coffey going to be the right guy? I'll give credit for Paul Coffey yesterday with the defense. It seemed like they played really well. Good. Evan Bouchard was very steady yesterday. Yeah. And the minutes-wise were spread out really well.
Yeah, it was very even. It was nice to see for sure.
I mean, when you heard Coffey in the press conference saying, you know, we can't overextend and we need guys to, you know, just play their roles and not try to do too much. Like, it was just screaming in my ear, nurse. Like, stop trying to do too much, you know, stick to your... And I thought he actually... there was that one rush in the first or second period where he went all the way around the net, and man, they were this close to going 4-on-1 the other way if there wasn't a stop at the blue line. I was like, oh, there we go. But you know what? Puck luck, and here we go. Now we got one that bounces in our favor, and 30 seconds later we score. So
when it comes to Coffey, what I hope to see a little bit is at times we've seen Bouchard make those bad pinches. Well, Paul Coffey was that offensive defenseman to teach Bouchard the times to make those jumps and the times best not to make those jumps. And I think that's the thing that we'll see if Paul Coffey can get through to Bouchard, which is there are certain moments where you want to go.
Yeah.
You think that but you have to know that might not be best.
Absolutely.
And I'm wondering if that's what Paul Coffey can help bring to Evan Bouchard.
I mean, he should be. He's one of the best to ever have done it. I don't like the narrative that, what would Paul Coffey know? He spent the whole time in the offensive end. Well, he could because he chose those opportunities at the right time, right? Like, just because he pinched 60% of the time doesn't mean that he knows Bouchard should only be pinching 10% of the time.
Yeah. We had Chris Joseph on the Hangout a few weeks ago, and he said that was the thing that he had to learn, and it's knowing when to pinch and when not to is the most, but the bigger thing to know. And Paul Coffey was in the offensive zone maybe 60% of the time, but he also knew when to pinch, and that's what led to him being in the right time 60%, and it wasn't going the other way.
Bingo.
That those 40% of the time he didn't pinch. Well, that's because he knew he couldn't, and it was the right play at that moment. So that's the thing I hope he kind of could bring
For sure.
Devin Bouchard.
What burns Bouch is, he's not known for his skating as well, right? So when he makes those pinches, he's caught flat-footed.
Tough to recover.
Paul Coffey, he might be able to catch up, but maybe Nurse as well. But no, Bouch is, here we go again.
Not a lot of people could skate like Paul Coffey.
Exactly.
Did,
That's what I heard. I heard the stories. It's a little before
I'm
my
with you.
time,
I didn't
but-
watch him either, but that's.
but I've seen some clips.
I'll still never forget, actually, though, when it comes to Paul Coffey. Did you ever watch Pros versus Joes?
Oh yeah.
He
No.
was on that. Do you know of it?
Is it? Wait, was it on MTV?
I was on like Spike
or
TV.
Spike.
Yes.
Yeah, he was on that.
He was on it.
What?
And
I didn't know
like
that.
one, you got like one of the greatest skaters of all time, most natural skaters. Looks like he's just like riding a cloud or whatever. Going up against Americans who've never put on a pair of skates in their life, and they have to get past him at the blue line. And it's like, well, this isn't gonna be fair.
See you later, chumps.
They could not. It was just like the worst segment ever because they didn't. No one came close to getting past Paul Coffey in that one.
It's you don't maybe like a 4 out of 10 skill, and you could still dribble a ball, or you could still huck a.
You could try.
Right? You could huck a baseball in a direction. I don't care. Hockey is it's a completely different animal. When you put steel blades and strap those in people's feet before they go wheeling around, it takes a lot more.
You can't just
For
put
sure.
on the skates and know how to skate.
That's right.
No,
We've
yeah.
all run, we all walk, basically.
Yes.
Everyone's grabbed the basketball at some point. You've swung a baseball bat. There are things you could try to do. Are you going to be good at it? No.
Yeah.
But you can at least try to do it. Putting on skates and going up against one of the greatest skaters of all time, even though he was older, don't matter. You don't have a shot. So that was a very poor one by Pros versus Joes.
I'm gonna have to look at that one. That one's gonna.
That was at the prime time of Spike TV.
Yeah. Spike.
Because they had Pros versus Joes. I think that was MXC at the time.
Okay.
Did you ever
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
those shows?
Yeah.
Oh, that one was great.
Yeah.
I need to go pull that one. Did you ever? Do you know what that is?
No, not that
So
one.
it's this Japanese game show, but it was. It's like. Do you ever see Whiteboat?
Oh, is it with the big rock ball that would come?
Those type of all of that.
Yeah.
But there was English subtitles or
Oh,
like
yeah.
a voiceover on it. It was
Okay.
hilarious as heck.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen that. Yeah. No, that's.
It added a whole nother dynamic to that because it was like, trying to figure out the subtitles and
Yeah.
I really wonder what
Listening
they were
to it.
actually saying.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't have been what the
commentators
voiceover
weren't they?
was.
Did they have like the?
It could not have been what we were getting in English.
Yeah.
So I really want to know what was being said.
It was probably like the Japanese 6 o'clock news. Like they're talking about the weather, and which volcano erupted recently. I mean, honestly,
good.
you'd be saying anything.
A little bit of breaking news from the NFL, by the way, and we'll continue the discussion. The Buffalo Bills fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. He was in his second season as OC, fifth season with the team. Bills, after dropping to 5-5 on the season, they fire their offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. I'm a big Ken Dorsey guy because he was quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes back in the early 2000s when I was I still am a fan of the Hurricanes, but that was when I was becoming a fan of the Hurricanes. So a little bit of breaking news for you there. That's actually a perfect way to end Movers and Shakers, brought to you by Marco and Mike Realty One Group Insiders. There's another moving and shaking that's happening right now, and that's Buffalo Bills making that move right there. We'll see if they could turn things around a little bit, although like too many men on the field. I don't know if you guys saw that last night with the Bills game.
Oh no, I
I
missed.
missed.
Okay, so
They pulled a Rough Riders, did they?
the Broncos go on the field to kick a field goal to seconds left to win it. Misses. Too many men on the field. So then
way.
move 5 yards closer. They get it set properly. Will Lutz nails it through the uprights.
Yikes.
Denver Broncos take out the Buffalo Bills last night. So
Why do I picture
happen.
Eric rocking back and forth in his chair, like having PTSD flashbacks of the Riders losing the Grey Cup to too many
oh my
men?
God, I didn't even put the 2 and 2. I
Right?
just think
He's
it's
a
both of
Bills
his
and a
teams.
Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eric
that
is
09 game was on
surprised he made it
TSN
into
yesterday
work
too.
today.
Actually, that 09 Grey Cup game.
Oh really?
It was on TV.
So Eric's just
Like
having a rough
in
day.
the afternoon.
Hello,
so
Eric.
Yeah,
Just the way
see,
things
I'm
work.
also a Riders fan and also
Are ya?
a Bills fan, so I put
Oh,
that
no.
together pretty easily too.
jeez.
Eric and I are probably the only two, but
Riders Bills.
it's an odd combo.
I know quite a bit of
What a-
Bills,
what a
but
combo.
the Riders part of that. Wow, that's rough. Why a Rider fan?
I was
Are you
born
from
here, but
Saskatchewan?
yeah, I grew up in Saskatchewan.
Oh, did
yeah.
you?
Yeah, yeah. I was a Wynyard guy.
Okay, that's I can't hate on that. That's all fair.
I moved back here
I
in
really
05,
enjoyed
so
that
I've been here
09
for a
one
while.
personally. No offense.
Yeah,
That one made me very happy.
I hated it. Yeah, it was an awful time actually. Like there's a little side story I could go on a rant about, but I lived in an apartment building in Edmonton then, and 2 floors up, somebody went on vacation and their toilet line broke. And like 17 suites in our apartment building were completely gutted because this guy's toilet ran for 2 straight days.
No.
And so we were misplaced. Like we got, a hotel through insurance and whatever. So I'm in this hotel room that I hated being in. I'm watching the Grey Cup. Too many men. It's just, it's a dark time. Dark time. Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, blame the Bills for
myself.
firing Ken Dorsey. It's for me to bring all of that up.
go.
That's, I wouldn't have brought up the Bills right now, but I'm going to blame them. So
I guess I brought it up myself.
YouTube Trev, Matt Iwanyk here on the EST Hangout, presented by Mott's Clamato Caesar. We also have Dash from Heavy Hockey Network and Oilers Live. We'll be on Edmonton Sports Talk, our audio feed on TuneIn or EdmontonSportsTalk.com at 5 o'clock. You and Michael will be recapping yesterday's game, I'm guessing, and looking ahead to tomorrow's game. Let's look a little back more to yesterday's game. Any other thoughts? Like, what stood out to you guys in that game? Maybe positive that you've seen this team kind of turn it around. Is it that McDavid and Draisaitl, what was it, combined 6 points last night?
Yeah, that was obviously nice to see, and it's like the first time in so long where you can say, like the Oilers fans are saying, like Connor and Leon, whereas fans, you're so used to them popping off 2-3 points a night, sometimes 4 points a night. And this was like the first time in maybe 6-7 years, ever since they've entered the league. They've just been so consistently good for such a long time that they kind of just weren't, they weren't at that standard that they set themselves up for the last few years, right? And so when you set yourself at a standard like that, you're expected to, obviously continue to do that. So it was weird, right? As Oilers fans, people are like, whoa, like, maybe are they stepping back? But I mean, it was as good a showing as any. Maybe last night, maybe not the best, but Leon was a great night for him. He was skating, and when he's skating, like, he's got such a heavy stride, and you can just feel it when he's feeling it. You can see it in his attitude. Not even when he's back checking, but when he's like on the attack, right? Like he's dominant and he wants the puck, and it's super impressive to watch. So it was nice to see his just unbelievable pass to McDavid. They don't get any better than that. Like, that was just rocket, so precise too, and gets the captain off the schneid. Like, that was just great to see. So the boys, they look to be rolling. They're going to continue off that, and it was great. It was good to see. And once those guys get going, that's really when this team starts to obviously they rally off those two, right? So that was great to see. And as far as defense goes, I think the last 2 games, Seattle and against the Islanders, like, definitely the best defensive outings for the Oilers all season long. And you could argue like the Calgary Flames game as well, but Nurse has looked pretty decent. Bouchard, like, he's had his best 2 games probably of the season. He hasn't contributed offensively, but it doesn't matter. As long as you're keeping the puck out of the net, I'll take that any day of the week. So the power
That's supposed
play,
to be your priority as a defenseman,
for sure,
right?
for
like,
sure.
you could be an offensive, all that. You want that.
That comes with it, but at the end of the day,
defense should be the most important part of that.
That's your title. That's what you got to do, for sure. So Stu looked good. And the last, I forget what the numbers were, but the last 2 games, 960 or 970, something like that.
Last night.
So so that's also very encouraging. And is it the coach bump, or is this something that would have just happened? That's the thing. And is it going to continue to happen? I think so. The puck luck was eventually going to start going in. The goals were, the power play looked, all 5 players touched the puck in their first power play goal last night within like 10 seconds, not even. And that's kind of what the Oilers fans have been so used to seeing for the last few years. And so, just recently with McDavid, he couldn't make a pass. That was the biggest thing. He wasn't scoring, but he couldn't make a pass to save his life. Like, it was pretty bad. Like, it was very concerning. And is that the injuries? I don't know, but he looked a lot more crisp out there. Both him and Leon did, and it was good to see. So hopefully they can continue on that high and see what comes from that. But it was good to see. Whether it was the coaching change, I don't know, but it was nice for sure.
I think we just got pucks deep. Kept it simple.
Yeah, we played a solid 20.
Joking aside, like, Draisaitl's that one player on the team that can really drag those guys into the fight.
He looked pissed off yesterday. Even just go to the morning skate when he had the hoodie on the head and looked like people are saying like his villain arc is about to begin and things like that.
Sweet. You love seeing that.
The wrestling reference, heel Draisaitl showed up.
Well, he took that cross check to the lower legs of the one Islander.
Yeah.
I will say this. If that happened against the Oilers, people would be up in arms over that one.
For sure.
I'll just throw that out there.
Oh, totally.
I don't think any Oiler fan has ever accused Draisaitl of being a clean player.
No.
I mean, one of the things we love about Draisaitl is pissy Draisaitl.
He's got some edge to him.
Yeah, so, you know what? This whole season's been a cluster schmuck and a little bit of a conundrum for all of us, hasn't it? Like, I think trying to figure out where the momentum was going to come from and how it was going to settle out, and I don't think we'll ever know, to be honest, to try to evaluate whether this is a coach bump or the right move. We'll never know.
No, you don't.
Because we can't, you know, unless Dusty pulls his DeLorean up and we can go in a time machine, not fire Woodcroft, and see how these next 7 games go otherwise. But, you know, Holland said it. We can't tell the future, and we can't either, and we can't guess how this would have went. But I was glad to see the energy the way that it came out, because to me, that press conference felt like they got introduced to their stepdad at their father's funeral.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like just oh man, Woody's gone, and yeah, we're happy here.
Well, Tommy was at practice yesterday at the morning skate, and he's saying like on the Oilers stream
Dead
that
energy.
dead energy, and like, well, that's not what you're supposed to hear when there's a new coach. You're not supposed to hear that. There's like usually you'd be, and I know they said it's on the players, they're taking responsibility, but then there's also like an energy of, okay, we got to be better. Even like you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar type thing. Like, okay, we got to get, but to have just no energy, like that's where I was concerned. And then yesterday you start the game where 20 seconds in, Leon doesn't shoot right in the slot. Instead, he passes, but loses the puck, goes to the other end, face off, then goal. And you're like, oh, okay.
Here we go again.
This is what we're going to see.
Yeah.
And that was like, we're okay. At least they turned it around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
ish. You know, like 14 shots in the first 2 periods isn't immaculate.
no,
Yeah.
no. Well, yeah,
There's no pictures on the score sheet, but
in the end, they had that third period that carried. Like, that's not a game that's you're going to win a lot going to Tampa coming up right away, or going to Carolina or something. Yeah. But I think what was big for the Oilers last night is getting the second straight win for the first time this season.
yeah.
We're streaking. They're streaking.
But that's like, they haven't been able to string 2 wins back to back yet. And how important is that for this club to be like, okay, now we've got 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Let's go try to make this 3, as opposed to, geez, we got to go get number 1 again.
That's huge.
The only 2 games I've been to this year were the Heritage Classic and last night.
So this is on you not going to
You
more
need to
games.
go every
then.
game.
What's wrong with you?
Get this man some tickets.
Daryl Cates is listening.
Yeah.
It's their first win at Rogers this season, too,
Yeah.
last night. Like, that's
exactly.
the thing, you know?
Right? Game what? 14? 13? 14?
Yikes.
Yeah, because their home win was Commonwealth Stadium. So, but yeah, like you said, the conundrum this year, it was a huge conundrum this season, because we've been having these chats here on the station. I'm sure you guys have been having Oilers Live, and it's just everything was wrong with this team. Like, there wasn't a good part of this Oilers team for the stretch. Top players weren't scoring. Bottom 6 was doing absolutely nothing. Bouchard was struggling. Nurse was struggling. Power play wasn't where it needed to be. Goaltending was bad. You know, the lack of accountability at times. You could go with the coach. It was just all a mess. You're like, but this team challenged the Golden Knights the best last year. What happened? Right? It's not like, look, is the loss of Klim Kostin and Yamamoto and Bukestad going to impact this team a bit? Absolutely. Is it the difference between being a top team in the West and the worst team in the National Hockey League? No, of course not. So how did this happen? And that's where, like, so is it the coaching change, or is it just straight up, as people were saying, is the puck luck? That they were having their chances, their goals above, or whatever that's called, was really high, and they just weren't scoring. And eventually that's going to get back to the mean, and they're going to start scoring. Like, and it was just, this has been just such a weird way to start the season for the Edmonton Oilers team.
I agree. And, you know, like, I keep hearing that narrative about, was it Klim and Bukestad and who's the third one you mentioned there? Sorry.
Yamamoto.
Sorry.
And I guess, Puljujärvi I got to throw in there because he was on the team too. But we got to put them all in.
We look at that team that went 18-2-1 down the stretch, and what are the biggest differences? You just named them. Okay, so is it as clean and simple as, you know, just cutting it right there? Because I would argue that if you start to peel that onion back a little bit, Barry was a big glue guy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would go back now the year before, you know, Shoresy was a big glue guy in the room last year
I
as
forgot
well.
about Devon Shore.
Right? So those guys should also be part of that 5-man equation. And I think things start to build on one another, right? It starts to exponentiate when you even peel it back another layer and you look at the year after Smith retired. I remember talking to my co-host Michael Hebert on Oilers Live about it, and we actually went and did some homework. And that year they lost, I want to say 8 of their 9 oldest players. It was Cassian, Smith, Koskinen, Keith. Pull it up and look it up.
Yeah.
It was like 8 of their 9 eldest players. And I added it up and it was like, I want to say like 7,000 games of NHL experience walked out the door that offseason. People still talk about whether we miss Smitty in the room or yelling at defensemen. I mean, hey, that argument can go both ways, but there's that narrative. So is it just Bugstad and Kleem and, or was it they lost Barry and Cassian?
Well, but the thing about the Barry, the counter I'll have on that one is the stretch that had down the run wasn't with him, it was with Ekholm, right?
Yeah.
And that would be the one change there. But yeah, like it's the stuff in the room to help.
Compound, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean,
absolutely.
You lose that little bit of leadership, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
But I don't think that's the difference between, fighting with the Golden Knights for first in the Western Conference last year and losing to the San Jose Sharks, the worst team in hockey this year, right?
No.
Like there's an in between there. Like are the Oilers, if we're talking about them sitting in a wild card spot right now, I could point to all of those and be like, there's your difference potentially.
Right.
This drop off is something else.
Yeah.
And I wonder if part of it is the Ekholm injury to start the year. Like, is he not fully healthy? Because we all came into this season saying this defense was going to play better. Yeah. Because look at what happened with Ekholm in this lineup last year, and that's going to carry over to this year. We're all like, what's he going to do for 82 games this year? But then he doesn't have training camp because it was a hip, then it was a groin, and so we don't fully know what it really is. But I don't think he's going to be healthy this year. I don't think he's going to be at 100% at any point.
Like to know what happened there, because he was at the captain's skate and wheeling around.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he wasn't available for preseason.
Yeah, it's weird.
And now the defense he doesn't even look right?
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of a shame for the Oilers this season.
Yeah. No, for
If
sure.
somebody's going to fall down the stairs and break a hip, I'd have put that on old man Bouch, not on Ekholm,
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm older than him, and
Bouchard?
Yes, and it doesn't.
How old's Bouchard?
I think he's 20.
Because you're 25 now.
He's
Yeah,
20,
he's 24, 23,
or 23, I think. 20. Yeah, I think
He was what, in the
18 draft.
He's 24.
24.
Yeah, he turned 24 October 20th. When's your birthday again? November 3rd.
3rd, yeah.
Gonna
So
buy a
just
few
almost a year.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's weird.
I went the other way.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
One thing I've learned is that it doesn't get easier as you get older. It doesn't make it any easier as you start. Why? It's funny. Like I'm 32 now though, or something. But you hear like 33-year-olds. This guy's Sam Gagne. How old is he? Like 34. Or something. He's old. And it's like,
You're like,
is he though? But
Yeah,
like in
you're
sports
like, no,
terms,
he's
it
young,
is.
he's
But
young.
no,
What are you
he's
talking
this.
about?
He's this old man, grizzled old vet. Like, what's he doing there? And
right?
Trev, it doesn't get any easier.
The prime of a professional athlete.
yeah, I'm in my prime right now, guys.
Yeah, you are.
Let's go.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're in your prime with your YouTube work.
Yeah,
This guy
100%.
knows his stuff around
I
that
know a
stuff. It's
little bit,
absolutely
a little
incredible.
Sitting on the Hangout at Edmonton Sports
I know,
Talk.
yeah,
Of
this is
course
pretty
you're
What could be
prime,
better?
right?
Yeah, this
Actually,
is pretty
Black
freaking cool.
Massacari says Dash in the Hangout. You know him?
One of our
I'm
fans
assuming
on
so.
OilersLive, yeah.
He goes, that's a must watch. I usually don't watch the Hangout. So thanks for the bump on the
Let's go.
Hangout today.
Thanks,
Heavy
buddy.
hockey bump. It's a thing.
It's what happens. By the way, like we'll get to this and we'll talk more about it after. But if people want to listen or subscribe beyond listening to Edmonton Sports Talk, you guys are other places too. How could people go about doing that?
Very proud to be on the Friends of Sports Talk, Edmonton Sports Talk program. You'll find us through you guys at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays.
That's fantasy. Yes, that's at OilersLive. Also, just quickly, Heavy Hockey Network, 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. We got fantasy hockey hacks
as well.
So if you're looking for fantasy hockey advice ever, 9 o'clock Wednesdays, Edmonton Sports Talk.
Absolutely. So both of those beauty podcasts under that Heavy Hockey banner, heavyhockey.com. We've got a group of great writers that are doing editorials. We've got some guest editorials in there from guys like Bruce McCurdy and some really nice material to go through, as well as on our YouTube page, where we would love for anyone that's subscribed to Edmonton Sports Talk on YouTube to go to the Heavy Hockey YouTube page and give us a sub there as well. We're pushing to get to that 1,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
We're almost there. So let's get an EST bump.
Awesome.
What are we at?
Oh, you guys crushed 4.
We,
Let's get that.
Yeah, we're
Close
we're
to
almost-
5 now.
we're almost.
We're almost at 6 for us. That's
I
sorry.
haven't looked in a week. Sorry.
This past week has been really good for
Yeah, we got a
business for
huge-
Edmonton
huge
Sports Talk.
bump.
Let me tell you that
isn't
right
that
now.
funny, hey? The chaos in sports and hockey.
This
great.
is behind the scenes. So yeah, subscribe to. Oh, I'm on the Edmonton Sports. I got to go on my account here. Search them up. Give them a subscription. Heavy Hockey Network on YouTube. They're a couple hundred away from 1,000. Let's get them to 1,000 as quickly as possible.
Yes,
but it's one of those things where people don't know behind the scenes. Like the radio station for all these years at 1260, one of the best things for business is actually when the Oilers are losing, not being terrible all year. Like if we went through it,
people just check out.
It really gets bad. Like the Death March is the worst thing. Partly, but like this stretch from a business side, and I know people don't want to hear this fully. Apologies. But for a business perspective of radio, this is one of the best because people love to complain. They don't love to celebrate things. And I could just go back to, let's look at our numbers for our post-game show last night on YouTube. I'll just use that one because I could quickly pull it up.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
It was good. But compared to the San Jose loss.
So last night, you guys had over 3,000 views for your guys' post game, you and Tommy.
Well done.
Yeah.
After the San Jose Sharks game last Thursday, 9.1.
Yeah, it's like triple.
Thousand.
Yeah.
You know, and it just
felt like it too.
The difference. And it's
Tune in for the car crash.
I was chiming in on the post game. Gosh darn it, these suck. They suck. And then I had to talk about
that was the language you used.
yeah, kind of.
Thanks, Ned Flanders. Vocally.
If you go like the ideal season for broadcast perspectives is the Oilers to be a wild card team where there's the up and downs, up and downs, up and downs. You go on a 3-game win streak, go on lose 2, win 4, lose 2, win 4, lose 3. Yeah. It kind of is best for business. Again, apologies to all Oilers fans because that's not what you want. I get it, but for what we do and stuff, it's you're learning that brand new now because you weren't part of this.
Yeah. I was very surprised by that because whenever when the Oilers would win, I'd be like, okay, I want to hear about this all the positive energy. I want to. And so when I was like, the guys are telling me, no, when it goes bad, like the people love it. I'm like, why would people like the negativity? I don't get it. And then I was wrong. Like
Misery loves company.
This just in, 24-year-old misery loves company.
When everyone's happy when they don't need to do anything, it's they only want to come together in spring and ice district and stuff. But they want to vent and they want to all come together and say what's wrong with the Edmonton Oilers. But then the flip side to this is we had Jack Cookson from Pro Sports on the Hangout a few weeks ago, and he goes, it's the complete opposite for him. The Oilers win, he gets pings of emails going, I sold a hat, I sold a shirt, I sold a jersey. All of a sudden, the Oilers lose nothing.
Crazy,
people coming in lined up for returns.
Exactly, right? Like, and so that's it's crazy how sports is such an impact on other things. Like in spring, how much bars are impacted by the fact that when the Oilers are in the playoffs, they see that bump of everyone coming out.
Yeah,
for sure.
40% of the annual jersey sales are 2 weeks before the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. And so, actually, that's the only thing that I would say that kind of hurts businesses a little bit now with the Moss Pit and all that.
Right.
Is we all want to go to the one location, but how many bars now are losing people to there?
Yeah,
but
good point. Yeah.
But that's it's weird how sports has this ability to drive, a community in both good and bad ways.
Especially in this city.
What cities are like Edmonton? Toronto's like Edmonton. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone else in Canada is like that. I think the two are unique.
Yeah, the top 15 sports podcasts in Canada, probably 10 of them are from Edmonton and Toronto.
Probably,
yeah.
Like they're in Vancouver.
Dustin's got 5 of them alone.
I was talking to a buddy who works at a radio station in Calgary, and he's like, some people are like going to him like, is Edmonton that crazy that they care this much? It's like, no, like it's different. Calgary's not like that. Vancouver's not like that. Winnipeg and Ottawa aren't like that. Maybe, I guess Montreal maybe like that. Maybe it's because I don't speak French. I don't know what's going on and what's being said.
Montreal is pretty passionate, but not fair weather like Calgary and Vancouver.
No. Yeah, there's a reason why I was driving up to Edmonton. I passed Calgary and I head straight to Edmonton.
Well done.
Well, and you were by Calgary and stuff, and you had a lot of it was when things are bad. Are they this angry?
No, not at all. It's totally different. Like it was. Yeah, it's just like okay, like what's for supper? It's like they move on. They
stampede?
Don't. Yeah, exactly. When's the stampede? Stuff like that. It doesn't hit home. There's not content about it. They don't talk about it. Like all the folks, like they just that sucks. Okay, like move on. But in Edmonton, no one moves on. It's oh my gosh, I love it.
I've got friends that live in Calgary, and they say they talk about the Oilers just as much as they talk about the Flames.
Yes, the Oilers live rent free in Calgary. It's like you ask any Calgary fan or whatever, they're like, oh, Edmonton, and then you're like. you never hear. Well, we're talking about it now, but it's like you never hear a Oilers fan badmouth any. It's just it's so weird how it works, and I love it. They talk about the Oilers more than they do Flames. It's great.
Ever since one guy beat him in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
It's not
That's
one
amazing.
guy.
Yeah.
Leon on one leg.
Yeah,
Whoever
Leon.
that one guy was.
Yeah, pretty impressive. 18 points in 5 games, I think it was. Yeah.
If you want to
Congrats
do
on
the
these records.
revisionist
No big deal.
history, like imagine what the Oilers could have done that playoffs if he doesn't get hurt against LA, right? Like he did that on the one leg that playoffs. If that stuff doesn't happen, Mikey Anderson, right? That was who did that?
Rasmus or
No, it's Mikey.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like with the
Oh,
Kings,
yeah, right.
with the
Yeah, with the
injured,
Kings.
not
Yeah,
with the Flames. What could have the Oilers potentially have done in that playoffs? And we don't need to go that
What
way
could
with
have
that,
happened
but
if Peter Angelo didn't two-hand Draisaitl? I mean,
Yeah. That like that. That shook up.
you want to
shook
know,
up.
that really changed that series in the sense that
Absolutely.
It
the
did.
Oilers focused too much then on him
Yeah.
and what happened there, and I understand why they
was
did
like
that. But then the Golden Knights just focused on hockey at that point, and
Yeah,
that's
they were in their heads.
Dry
Yeah.
wasn't
But
quite
that's where the
same.
NHL needed to do more with that one.
Yeah.
The NHL.
As we bring this conversation full circle.
Well, this
Blame
is
Gary
it's
Bettman
Gary
again.
Bettman again, and this is why
How's it going, Gary?
he didn't give the Ottawa Senators to Ryan Reynolds, so that Michael Eilenauer would take Steve Stais, and all of this is happening. This is on you, Gary. It's on you.
You back off on my source. Leave him alone. We like Gary.
That's awesome.
Edmonton fans should always have a little soft spot for Gary.
Hey, we might not
You
have a team
always
if it wasn't
have
for
to.
Gary. Yeah.
Yes. Like, I know you want to rip, and I know there's all sorts of different anger. There is no reason Gary Bettman should have allowed 38 individuals to come together to own a franchise. That should not have happened.
100%.
But he allowed it. This team stayed. They're not in Houston. And do you not know the story?
When did that happen?
Oh,
yeah, because
the
he's too
ownership
young.
Group.
So
Holy.
back in the late 90s, the Oilers owner was Peter Pocklington still,
Right,
but
okay.
he's
Yeah, I've heard
going
of
through one of his
him.
many
Yeah,
financial
yeah, I heard that.
issues, and he needed to sell the team. And there was a guy from Houston who in the end actually had no money. But he was trying to buy the team. He was going to move. There was this, was it the SOS campaign or something like that?
I don't know if it was SOS or something like
Yeah.
that.
If you know, drop
It's
it in the chat.
I guess it doesn't. I want to say Save Our Oilers, but that doesn't add up fully.
Save
But in the late 90s, like, because the Oilers weren't selling out. I remember my dad used to take me to games. He'd go to like Superstore and you'd get like 2 tickets, 2 pops, and 2 hot dogs for like $50 or something like that.
What?
But so the team was close to moving. But then a group of like 38 individuals, businesses, and stuff came together to form the Edmonton Investors Group, which then purchased the Edmonton Oilers, and then they owned the Oilers as a group, including Todd McFarlane, who's the Spawn creator and all that. He was part of it, a bunch of different businesses. Was Randy Gregg part of that? I don't know if Gregg's were.
No, I don't think so.
I never knew
But
this.
so that, and then they were the group that eventually sold to Daryl Cates, who bought the team in 08 or whatever it was, and passed
Crazy.
the team on to them. It's all because the Oilers were this close to
Holy.
moving to Houston, and us not having a franchise in Edmonton, and us becoming Winnipeg, where we would have been for years clamoring for the Oilers to come back. But so that's where I go back to, if it wasn't for Gary Bettman,
Thank you,
largely
Gary.
Edmonton wouldn't have a hockey team, or it would have been years. We would have been without a hockey team for a long time. So there's a
Jeepers.
lot of reasons to rip on Gary Bettman. He deserves that. He's going to keep getting that.
Yeah.
But there always has to be that little bit from Oiler fans thanking Gary Bettman for keeping this franchise.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't know that, but that's really
Because you youth
Thank
don't
you,
care
Gary.
about history.
I
It's all
care
about the here and
I
now.
was born
No.
then. I didn't know.
This guy, did you ever ice
I was
people?
born in '98.
No.
Do you even know what icing is?
Kind of.
Where
No.
you take a Smirnoff ice and you hide it somewhere?
Oh, right. Yes.
you drink-
Okay.
Give it to someone. They
So
chug
yeah,
it.
All right.
So we were talking once on the Hangout, and he's like, "You guys did that? I thought we invented
Yeah,
that."
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
They're
"No,
like-
we've been doing this for a long
Yeah,
time."
that's just
kid."
like, have you been iced? I'm like, yeah, I thought we started it. If I'm not like, how do you guys know it? But yeah, no, apparently it's been going for quite a few years, I guess.
I gotta
I didn't
call
know.
up the youngsters for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Gary Bettman saved this franchise. Let's see if we. That's
super
There
cool.
were lottery tickets where the
more you
proceeds
know.
went to the Oilers as well, right? That coming from Gator Hockey. I do kind of remember that. Yeah. Yeah, there was that, and I think the Flames had one too, the lottery and stuff. But I'm trying to see if
way to
anyone
raise
else. No, I'm not saying no one has the idea of the SOS and things
Edmonton's
like that.
loved a 50-50 for a long time.
Oh boy, do
Isn't
we
it like
ever?
isn't it like the 50 like the 50-50 of like or what is it? We're like known like across
Highest
the
per
world.
capita,
Yeah,
probably.
something like that. It's
Us
like
in Saskatchewan.
yeah, like it's like
That's it.
very. That's kind of cool. Let's
When you go,
guys.
Edmonton and Saskatchewan, because it doesn't happen in Calgary.
Yeah.
There's something about
Yeah,
Edmonton. and
Calgary is
50-50.
like
it no?
not nearly. Like there's still, it's still a decent amount, but like it's like bar none. Like Edmonton's way ahead of Calgary as far as 50-50 goes.
that and a meat draw.
Yeah.
Edmonton loves a good meat draw too.
Meat,
But yeah, like
meat draw?
meat.
yeah. Do you know what a meat draw is?
Oh gosh, no.
Wagon full of liquor.
Where you
Oh.
you buy tickets
Sure.
and you can win a bunch of meat,
Oh,
like
okay.
steaks and all that. Like yeah,
never
just a
heard of
big
that.
meat draw.
I want to.
I guess that again, it's an Edmonton thing.
wanna
You'll
get
learn
into
from
my
here.
meat draw.
We just love those type of things.
Oh,
we
that's
just
a new
love
one
the
as well.
50-50 and a meat draw. We just love doing them for some reason. And you go anywhere else, like it's funny when you hear like the Phillies have like a $5,000 50-50 point. You're going, what?
Yeah, it's
5,000?
embarrassing.
That's an Oil Kings
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
What are you
yeah,
doing?
literally.
Tune into the morning show tomorrow to find out where to get your tickets for the Edmonton Sports Talk Meat Wagon.
Yeah, let's go.
The Bears did a meat draw, actually.
Really?
Well, they did to raise money for the Legion. Jerry, just after
interesting.
COVID, Legion was having trouble. One of them, I think Kingsway
I
Legion.
remember that,
And they
actually.
did this massive meat draw for it. And again,
Crazy.
they sold, I think it was like, they sold $20,000 worth of tickets or something
Oh,
like that.
my lordy bee.
Because that's what we love to do. We love to just
Who wants meat?
have the chance at winning
50
either
bucks.
meat or a bunch of cash.
That's so funny.
So we can buy meat.
So you can load up on all the meat things.
Weirdly enough, Mark Spector years ago won a 50-50 at a Flames game.
I wanted to say thank you for bumping Spec so I could be here today.
Yeah.
I don't know if Spec will ever be on here. Well, he's with the other guys a little bit. I was actually speaking with Spec in the press box yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I got bumped over in the press box, like in a good way. It used to be us at 1260. We're at the far end, inside. Like I'm trying to remember the rink. Yeah, Oilers attack. Visitors attack twice. So Oilers net for first and third. Me and Dusty were sitting over there, and for some reason we're closer to like center ice this year.
There you go.
I have no idea why.
Probably, I'd thank Glenn Suter. He probably pulled some strings, suits. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm friends with Suits too.
Nice.
I'm just gonna say that.
Let's
Pulled some
go.
strings for you guys, probably.
That's pretty cool.
Trev,
Yes.
I think that's it for you today.
Right on. Okay, well,
We'll send Lieutenant Eric in here and
this was sweet.
continue.
Keep
have
liking.
best.
Yeah, let's go, bro. We'll get your number. We'll go play some karate soon.
We'll go play
keep
what?
liking some karate. If it's a Step Brothers reference.
Oh, okay.
Do we just become best friends? Yep.
I knew that part.
Yeah. You want to go do karate in the garage? Yep.
Oh, karate,
And then
karate in
the garage.
the nice scene.
You know, I've only
and then-
seen Step Brothers I think once.
Oh.
I know.
Oh,
I'm again. This all comes back to I'm only. If you have a movie like, hey, did you see this movie? 90% chance it's a no. For me. Straight up, it's a no. Or I've seen it once. I'm
That's fair,
I'm
man.
not the biggest movie guy.
yeah. Each to their own, man. Nothing wrong with that. Keep liking. Keep subscribing. I'm gonna go grab Lieutenant Eric, and he'll sit in this chair. Right on. Take her easy, guys. Thanks for letting me join.
That
and
was
on the
YouTube
Hangout.
Trav, Matt Iwanyk, a dash from Oilers Live of the Heavy Hockey Network, which you could hear live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk coming up today. 5 o'clock. This is the EST Hangout presented by Mott's Clamato Caesars, available in both original and variety 12 packs, a great pack size for entertaining and hanging out with friends. Lieutenant Eric will join us right away here. This Oilers team, Seattle, but then that road trip out east. That feels like the defining road trip of is this going to turn around or not? No.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
they have to
yeah.
come back. What is it? 600 hockey or is 500 good enough?
I don't know if it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough. You might have to do better than 600. I mean, ultimately.
Well, they need 600 hockey to probably make the playoffs. I would say.
Are you
Really
speaking
close.
specifically to the road trip or moving forward?
Well, move it
for-
the rest of the season. If they're
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
600,
yeah.
so okay. Let's see where they go to Tampa, they go to Florida, they go to Carolina, they go to Washington. Mm-hmm. That's going to be like 5 to 6 points. I think they need at minimum in that.
I'd say 6. Yeah.
Man, that's a tall order.
Think so?
That's going to be that one. This chair is.
It's warmed up
Sitting
for
in the
you.
chair, somebody's been, you get that.
I know, but the
Excuse
problem
you?
with this this is like the unlucky chair on the Hangout.
Oh.
Where it just has. It's not the most flattering.
That's where I was sitting
on
during the
screen.
draft.
But it's not the
That-
most flattering for the shot.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
When
you
when
get a
you're
real
sitting
side.
here, you're more side and stuff, and this I would say is the chair you want to sit in least, visually.
then it's the chair for me. That's where I like to be, baby. Side profile, half cut off.
Well, no, you wouldn't be cut off.
Kind of, no?
Well, that's zoomed in right now.
Oh, is that
because
what it
there's only
is? Yeah.
3 of us.
Oh,
we
I
don't
see.
want to
So if
see
you-
like
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry
for those
to-
watching, for those listening on our chat, this doesn't make any sense to you, so
it's-
apologies. But no, see, like we would
Both
just
sides
zoom
were your
out.
good side, Eric.
Now I'm blushing.
See,
No,
look,
you could really zoom this whole puppy out. We could just.
well, I don't think we could zoom out much more.
Is that it?
Well, now
I
I'm
do
just
like if we
messing
had
with
the
this.
top
that's
corner
that's a
fisheye.
zoomed out completely.
Yeah, that's hanging
That's
out.
fully zoomed out. So too much on the sides of
Yeah,
the
you-
chairs and stuff. But yeah, we have that empty chair. See, that chair just looks very big. It looks like a monster chair.
Are you cracking these clams?
Well, not those ones. Those are the show cans.
We
you
can't
want
touch
one?
those at all.
Well, I don't want. Well, we need to.
Do you want one?
Of course I want one.
Do you? Can I do this?
Well, let's do a
it's the
trio
sponsor.
then.
I'm trying to,
course I will.
Let's do one.
Did,
Eric
Spicy
comes in and he
original.
wants.
original. Do you have the pickled bean?
We have all of them. We have all 3 of those.
Yeah. Can it go
So-
with a Edmonton Sports Talk lager of some kind, perhaps? Or?
We haven't tried those yet.
Really?
We're not yet. We just got the cans there.
Really?
We are waiting to do it as a group type thing. So those ones, not just yet. You came a little too early joining the Hangout because we're not ready to crack those yet.
All right.
So
Okay.
it's just the clam. Look
I mean,
at
you
this.
could plan to drink those, but Tommy's going to be late.
Well, Tommy's not here today.
Well, I'm just saying, you guys
So-
want to all be together to drink those.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
you can
fair.
plan for it, but you can't. Can you really plan for it?
Tom's not showing up, is he?
No, he's just gonna go to practice today. So yeah, grab what you need. You want
Yeah.
the pickled bean? I'm going to. Yeah, you have to shake these too.
Did you want the pickled bean one? I can trade you.
No. This is good.
This is great. Couple guys
I
hanging
think
out.
this is good because I think
doing this
I
right
think
in the
one
mic.
thing I'm scared.
Oh,
One reason I'm
Guys hear
scared
that?
to drink like this on the show a little bit is I'm the only one that it would be. So it's nice having a group here today.
Oh no, yeah. Look, whenever you want, I'll down one of these with you. But
Well, but like on the show and stuff, like right, like when I'm doing like yesterday, Tom and Quinn, I don't think they wanted one. So me by myself drinking,
Right.
I think
just
as a
look
good
like
host, though, you should always offer.
Oh, always.
And then they
Always.
politely declined. But
That's-
Tom,
I guess I
especially.
didn't offer you earlier because I could have said, "Did you want
Cheers,
one?" There you go.
boys.
Cheers, boys.
Yes.
Mott's Clamato Caesar, get one
to the Riders and the Bills.
To the Riders and the Bills.
Do you want to comment on the Bills?
Dorsey? We talking Dorsey?
Well, both. That
I
or
mean,
the
he
missed
shouldn't
kick.
have sent 12 people out there last night on the field goal, right? Ken Dorsey, fault number one. He shouldn't
that's
have
a
been
mistake.
fumbling the ball as much as he did, fault number two. And he shouldn't be throwing deep balls into double coverage. And I mean, there's lots of things with the team, and I guess somebody has to take the fall. And Dorsey was, I mean,
The one throwing the balls into double coverage.
when you got Dable, right? when you've been to where you were and you saw all the excitement with that offense. And I too, like the weaponry they have, in my humble opinion, isn't necessarily what you would classify perhaps as a Super Bowl contender. I mean, there's lots of issues. They needed a pound of flesh. Ken Dorsey, Matt Canada still has a job. 6-3. The Steelers are in the postseason. Ken Dorsey's out of work this morning, and the Bills are 500 out of the playoffs.
I'm actually really surprised they
saw
made
that
this
coming.
move. I actually like to go this far. Like I know the season's turning a little bad, but he's only been on the job for a year and a half as the OC.
Well, kind
they
of
were
up my
really good
points.
last year.
Yeah.
Like I think this is just too reactionary.
Yeah, it is. And it's look, when you get your
knee-jerk.
pants pulled down on prime time,
Right.
on a Monday night against a team that, let's give the Broncos a little credit. They were a laughing stock. No, but
We have to.
We
They
don't
beat
have
KC
to.
last week.
They beat KC.
And
They're
then
4-5.
And then they go to Buffalo. They didn't just beat
Yeah.
Buffalo. They went to Buffalo to do it.
And Turner, Buffalo were beating them. Buffalo had been beating themselves
Yeah.
throughout the season,
Yeah.
slowly and surely,
Yeah.
to get to this point.
Yeah.
But I was a little hesitant yesterday, and there was +7 for the Broncos, and I was like, well, you could see them back there cover. No, the fumble off the hop kind of set the tone. I think a nervous energy around there, and a nervous injury during the season that's probably going to follow them throughout the season too, wild card or whatever. But I said maybe with the bright lights off of them, you sneak in, you surprise people, much like the Oilers here. Maybe you aren't that top dog contender, but you get into the dance somehow, by some way.
Yeah.
And then you surprise people and you turn it on as teams and
Just got to
individuals
get there.
do.
Just got to get
Just
there.
gotta
It
get
feels
there.
like no one has
That's why we play the
become
games.
the team in the NFL that is standing above the rest.
Well, in the AFC,
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Ravens are the team that I was talking with a buddy at the Oilers game yesterday because he loves ripping on me for being a Ravens fan,
Humble
even though he's
brag.
a Patriots fan. It's like, dude, what's
Wow.
going on with your team? But it's like anytime the Ravens get close to be like in the conversation of best team in AFC, they go lose to the Browns type.
Yes.
You know, the Chiefs losing to the Broncos last week, and then you got the Bills who are now 5-5, and it's just like there's no real contender that I would sit there and say they're the team going to the Super Bowl in the AFC. And the NFC is still thing is pretty open too, which is great because I don't think who's the Super Bowl pick right now? Who's meeting? Like I guess
It
maybe the
changes
one
by
thing
week, Phil.
I think the
That's-
one thing in the
to your
end
point.
is do you bet against Pat Mahomes? That's all I'll lead to. But beyond that, I think this is like, even the Bills being a 5-5, it's still very much there for them to go and be in the playoffs and be the representative of the AFC in the Super Bowl.
They can play anywhere on the road. Weather shouldn't be a factor for them, right? It's one of those teams that but as a Ravens fan, Maddie, too, like there is a point every season where you just hop off. We've had our fun. It's starting to get a little cooler.
Similarly, the Eagles fans, right? There's like
you cringe a bit.
Yeah.
The Ravens do not want to ever be the top team. They don't like this spotlight.
Right.
They want to be below a couple of teams for some reason. Anytime they get close to being a great team and everyone's giving all sorts of praise, they always stumble for a bit. Like,
Some organizations don't
They
do
might
well with
lose
it.
2 in a row this week. They'll get the Bengals. They always struggle against the Bengals and stuff. They could go 0-2 in their last 2 type thing, and then they're dropping, and then who's jumping in? But like, here's the one thing I'll say about the Bills. I don't think Josh Allen is running enough right now. And I think that's by design because they want to keep him healthy for the playoffs. If he starts running, that team's going to be better.
No, it's a strength. It's your run pass option in a sense without a running back. I mean, that's his. They should be fine, but there's a lot of placeholders, right? At this stage of the NFL season, there's placeholders. There's those 500 teams that you think, they're good. They play good ball, but they're not going to make any noise in AFC, NFC championship Sundays or anything like that. Right. I mean, I wake up this morning, the Bills are in the hunt, and the Steelers and the Browns occupy a wild card. What year is it? What world am I living in? This shouldn't be the case. Matt Canada is employed. Like, the Steelers are amazing. They haven't gone over like 100 yards of offense, and each and every win they find ways to win. And it's pissing Steelers fans. They're pissed off that they're 6-3 because you should just be okay. Let's take a season off, but they refuse to.
The problem is they have such a great coach.
But they're not going to piss and drop in the playoffs, so that's the whole thing.
I hate the Steelers.
You know it, right?
As a Ravens, I hate the Steelers.
Sure.
I do respect them, but I hate them. I want Mike Tomlin to be fired because he's too good.
Yeah.
I need him to go when there was a couple years ago there was talk of him going to Washington. I'm like, please go to Washington. Please go. Just get away from the Steelers. I don't want the Ravens to have to go up against you twice a year.
Been coaching there since he was 12? Like
their third coach? Second? First?
He's their third since the 60s.
It's amazing in pro sports these days, right?
The Oilers have had 3 coaches in the last 2.5 years or whatever.
Well, prior to the past couple of decades, though, that 2 was a number that you could say count on 2 hands or whatever it is, right? Like,
So
the Steelers have had 1 coach, while Nuge has had 42.
He's on his 10th.
How about count assistants?
Nuge
grew up with
about that one.
Count assistants. I bet you it's 30-something.
Because every
Tomlin grew up
coach had
together.
multiple assistants, basically, except Jay.
Yeah.
And Todd's assistants got fired and had
And
to
then
bring
they
in
came
new
in,
ones.
and then-
So, like, even though they had one head coach, he had 5 assistants.
I can't wait for the book.
Who's writing it?
Well,
Low Tide again?
I think a chapter from each coach. Why not have them all? You could have a sit down, each one of them. It's a thick book, but
That'd be a long one.
I just. And it's funny. I moved here in 2010. I took that Nate RTA program, and that was the same time Nuge.
Yeah,
it was the
he was
Nuge,
due, 'cause he was
it was the
2011
Nuge
draft.
Landeskog discussion. And I'd walk around the halls of Nate with my little audio recorder and ask random people in doing whatever class. Hey, I'm so and so from the campus radio station. Oh, you have a radio station? They'd ask, and then I'd explain to them everything that, and then I'd get to my question: who would you select first, Nuge or nobody called him Nuge, Ryan Nugent Hopkins or this Gabriel Landeskog? And it was like a split. It was 50-50, and a lot of people but it's just funny, like rewinding all that time, and he's still been here, and all of those coaches and all of that. I don't know what would we call it, mediocrity. I guess at this point, you've had some really good years, you've had some bad ones. They even out.
Yeah,
but
it's actually
been
a cool exercise to go back and look at some of those drafts. There's the Gabe versus Nuge, or I know it was in the same draft year, but Ovi versus Sid, and then there was Hall versus Sagan. I'd say in almost all of those cases, you look 4 years in, 8 years in, almost identical stats. Like Hall and Sagan up to a certain point were like 4 or 5 points away from each other's totals after 8 years of playing. Same with, I think, what was it, Ovechkin and Crosby hit the same within.
Well, it's wild because individuality out of it. These guys are going to totally different situations than the other. I mean, you could be, again, in Nuge's case, or you could be like an Ovi or a Sid, and you get on a team and they figure it out right away and cater to your strengths. But
Nuge
it's
might
funny
have
how
had
those
his
numbers.
100-point season 3 years in instead, or Landeskog might not be hurt if he was an Oiler. Right.
Who knows, right?
That was Adam Larson, too, wasn't it? The Nuge year? Is that Adam Larson?
Was it?
I'm trying to remember. When was Adam Larson? Because I remember that was slightly part of one of
And
the
just
discussions.
below the 2 or whatever. And
So you went, yeah, you know what? I think that
2011
say
draft.
again. Yeah,
Nasty
it
Jack.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
you went
2011.
sixth or something like that. to New
So
Jersey?
fourth? No. Selection by rounds. Nuge, Landeskog, Huberdeau, Larson.
Huberdeau.
Larson was fourth.
Huberdeau,
yeah.
eh? Isn't
Yeah,
that-
because there was, I remember that one because there was Nuge, Landeskog, but there was a little Larson being thrown in there. Do you take the defenseman? This team needs a defenseman.
The wild card.
And it's always funny. Like the Oilers ultimately end up with Larson. The same with the Yakupov year. You still end up with a couple of those guys from that draft year in the
Yeah.
top picks and stuff. And how it all plays out. But
And she eventually ends up with Sagan and Hall, but he still chose Larson.
it's where Boston had both Hall and Sagan in the end too.
Yeah.
Like when you think about that.
Weird.
It's wild. It's almost like we put so much stock into these damn drafts, and at the end of the day, it's just kind of a. I mean, there are busts and there are guys that rise from the ashes, but it's kind of a.
There's more busts nowadays than ever before too.
But
in
it's
the
because we're all
NHL.
placing so much on them.
But the Yakupov year, like everyone was going like, it's rare for a number one overall pick to be a true bust in hockey. It was Dag.
That was the one.
You had Patrick Steffen a little bit, but for the most part, most
still had a bit of a career.
the number one players played for a bit. It wasn't a true bust. And then you had Yakupov, and we've had a few since that just not panning out.
That whole draft year was just something. in
That
the
one was a
water,
bad
though.
one.
Yeah, probably
Like,
the worst in 20
What,
years.
Nolan Patrick. Like what happened
Yeah.
with Nolan Patrick?
Yeah.
Here?
Injuries, I think.
Yeah, that's part of
Like,
it, and it's just
I remember watching him for Brandon versus the Oil Kings.
Sure.
I mean, he was a
Lighten it up, yeah.
very dominant player.
But in terms of making the jump too, and lighting it up at one level doesn't necessarily translate to that. And,
Wow.
and I mean, again, scouts watch and Bob McKenzie, you know, has a beat on everything going on like that, and lots of other smart draft guys. But until you actually know and they take that jump, who's to say?
you're
He
trying to
played
guess.
against Griffin
it's
Reinhardt in
guesswork.
that series, and
Yeah.
Griff
You're
didn't
trying
make
to
it either.
guess what an 18-year-old's going to turn into.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's such a
Yeah,
weird
at a
little
turning point of their
science.
life, yeah.
As- You don't know fully. Like you're still not matured out into your body. You still have a lot of body development to go.
Mental development.
Mental
Some of
development
these guys
has
say
to
you're digging up
happen.
old tweets. Well, it's you
That-
changed person.
I don't mind
sure.
the discussion of maybe one day raising the draft age.
Ooh.
Because like if you wait a couple more years, is it gonna, are your scouts gonna have a better time or franchise gonna have a better time finding the right prospects? I don't.
Change
I
in
have
hockey,
ti-
hey?
I have time for that. The discussion. I'm not sitting here saying do it. I'm not going to say let's
Iwanyk
raise the
wants
age to
it.
21
Demands
years. But I do understand why that discussion has been had at times in the past, where it's like, hey, maybe we do need to allow these players to ripen a bit more before these franchises that are worth billions of dollars
They always
make
live-
a decision on who should we use a valuable draft pick on coming in here to help this team.
Eliminating risk when you have the dollars at play.
So in our Oilers Live podcast, Michael Hebert always gives our guests the last word. You've had the last word on our show before. I think we gave it to Jeff Walker, which was a fun one too. But he talked about his Halloween candy that was in the deep freeze. So
He gave me one of those bags.
He told me.
One of those bags.
I bought a couple of bags of Cadbury mini eggs and stuff. I think what. And but
Yeah, that's why you buy them, right?
The station shut
So
down.
he put them in his
He couldn't hand
freezer,
them
and then one day he gave me a bag. They were delicious, but he put them in the freezer, and yeah.
So a sucking hard candy type
I don't
of thing, you
know.
Got to kind of.
But sorry.
No,
Yeah,
all
anyway.
good. So one of our guests one time suggested, and it's like kind of crept into my mind and stayed there ever since, living rent free, as you say, but abolish the draft. What if you just got rid of the draft?
Welcome to soccer.
He said it.
Yeah,
Connor
Eric did
Bedard,
not say that one.
Connor
Riffing.
Bedard can choose to whoever he wants.
Some
to-
seismic. Next, what? What do you want? An
play for,
in-season
right?
tournament next? What are you?
Do I look insane?
Some sort of forward thinker? No, that's an interesting. But
Right,
then
like
you're talking about a totally different model of getting kids when they're teenagers and
Well, that you at that point you then create youth systems.
Playing for the
They'd be
junior
the
Oilers.
youth
Yeah.
team, the junior Oilers. They'd be the junior Flames. You'd have to because you'd want to sign guys who are 13, 14
Yep.
and develop them in your system. I don't think you could do that in a cap system.
Good point.
yes, you'd
Although
have
the
to.
cap
Because
system
this-
would dictate
You don't allow
equality
so many.
because, like we're up against it.
You
so we're
reform
not
the
getting
system to-
Bedard, right? The team that has the most cap space and is likely the team that needs that player the most. So there's, Arizona and Chicago and San Jose all court the man or the kid, and Bedard says, all right, I'll choose this one. And the next year it's those other two teams have the cap space available, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to the rich teams are gonna get all the players. You'd feel like they'd have the best.
Works in soccer.
But the thing in soccer is there is no parity. That's the ultimate thing in soccer.
And we
is
would
that
use-
And people
going
don't
into
mind.
and there's no
In North
caps.
America, we mind.
There's no absolutely
Ratings is important. Everybody needs to have a shake.
All right, yeah.
There's
Socialism
no cap.
for the
There's
rich.
none of that. We know going into a Premier League season, the teams that are likely going to win, we could probably 6. Any given year, there's only 6 that could potentially win.
Yeah.
The 2 Manchesters, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. I don't think I'm missing anyone.
There are top
That is
clubs
likely.
financially that should be,
You have the Leicester City that happens once every 100 years or whatever, but for the most part, there's 6 out of 20 that could win.
But when those excitements happen,
And
they really happen, and they capture an imagination. That
it's
get,
just
but the Oilers here, right, finishing 8th and going off and knocking off teams prior to in different eras as well,
Right.
and you're taking on these behemoths that can outspend you and outpay you, and you're seen as this. That's a good story. Like, I have time for that. I don't think anybody else really.
to go the soccer way, which is maybe starting with a youth system and all that. I think it has to be done if it's going to work in North America. I think the test market or the test league is MLS.
Yeah,
That's
fair.
the sport. That is the same
It's
sport.
worked, yeah.
When do they start going promotion relegation? When do they start like they do a playoffs right now and it's a best of 3. That isn't soccer.
It's wimpy.
It's not. It's
yeah.
that's North American sports.
Weak sauce.
Like
It's
not,
a foot in, a foot out. Yeah.
So it's because I just don't think it'll ever fly here.
I think
As
it'd be
much
cool
as I
though
would love
for
it.
junior kids to go around playing, repping the junior Oilers, or going on a tournament, say a Western
yeah.
Canada tournament. You're playing the junior Canucks and junior Flames and all that crap, where, or you go overseas, play junior this and that, and
Well, to this, like, look, the Coyotes haven't been successful in terms of a franchise being a proper business in that area. It was kind of successful, though, because we got Austin Matthews from that area. That doesn't happen without the Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes. If now all teams had to get their own prospects and develop their own prospects without the draft, do we find more kids? Does the Southern Belt have to invest more into the local minor hockey to try to find more players?
And
Because
unearth more of those
the
gems.
Canadians are going to have their Canadians. Like Edmonton, if they're looking to build their junior Oiler team,
Quentin Byfield.
there's a lot of players here to choose from. If you want to stay competitive, either you have to have the money to then go get those players because the Oilers have so many, they have to give up a prospect or the Leafs or whoever, or do you just develop your own? And is that a way to develop minors hockey down south?
it would be a forceful way to get these organizations and owners to say, "Hey,
To
pony
really-
up the money and really invest in yourself."
get in the grassroots
instead of
of
taking
those.
the easy way out, which is the NHL draft. And
crazy
again,
that-
I don't want to besmirch the draft at all for all the hockey. It's a big part of the sport,
Of course.
When they were talking about getting rid of the draft, right? I mean, that was that was like, oh wow, you can't.
People don't like that.
Well, they don't.
Do you like that?
Nobody likes change.
The
but-
idea that the teams aren't going to all be there. They'll have one representative, but really the war room's in each city.
and they're doing it for a reason.
Save travel.
Okay,
Because
always
basically
for a
what it
reason.
is,
I
the
mean,
teams are sitting there going, we're traveling a lot. And can we not, like, we're trying to prepare for free agency, but now we have to uproot everything, send everyone to this draft city to then just come back home to get ready for the free agency. Could we just not stay home? Look at the NBA, look at the NFL. That's what they do. Why can't we do
But
that?
from fans' point of view, can you not give us that one day of travel? Are you that up against it? Would be the like if the reason to get rid of that would be for a benefit to the fans. I don't know what it would be, right?
I like in the NBA when they have like the draftees at home and on the couch
You
with
like-
their families.
I love that.
And,
NFL too, same type
love
of
that.
yeah.
So I would like to see maybe that. I think that would be a positive in it.
It'd open
but
up culture in the league more so too. Get these guys,
you could be more
families,
with your family and friends.
a little more relaxed.
As opposed to just a select few that you go to there.
Well, in a suit and the stuffiness of
Think
the.
of the pressure those kids feel as a potential second or third round pick. Do I go? Shouldn't I go? Should I go? You're sitting there. Oh my God. The cameras are on me. Right? Like nobody's going to Eric's house to put the camera on him if he hasn't been picked yet or whatever, right? So maybe
that
there's a
leads to the
camera
stories in a
pocket, but-
social media age. You get the memes and the
Absolutely.
gifs and all that instead of the solemnness of
Yeah.
everybody dressed in a suit. And
The downside to it is I wonder how many more trades happen because of the chaos.
and
on
that,
the
I think that's what
floor
people like,
and
the chatter or the
Yeah.
perceived chatter.
Ken can just go over, not Ken, because he doesn't make decisions anymore, but
Well,
somebody
they'll
from the
send him
Oilers.
over.
will-
They'll send
you
him
know,
over and he can report back, and then
They'll
they,
send the assistant coach
Yeah.
over to go and try and make a trade over.
the Trojan horse.
The one where I think this could actually be better for fans, the draft thing, is that depending how teams do it. So right now all the draft picks
Mm-hmm.
for most part go there. They meet the team, and people are like, they're going to miss that moment with the team getting
Yeah.
the picture.
Yeah.
But if you're like the NBA or the NFL, especially the NFL, what happens is that first round pick gets drafted. The next day, they're in that city.
Right.
They fly out immediately, and they have that press conference in the city
Yeah.
where they go, "This is our guy." And
He's yours now, yeah.
Instead of it all being in the one city, Edmonton could be,
Yeah.
okay, well, we drafted this guy first round yesterday.
You still get your picture with Daryl Cates' son.
You still,
Each market gets its little
you
draft
still
party.
get that,
Yeah.
but now it's a little more localized to each city.
Yeah.
And that might benefit each city a little better. Like Oiler fans now, the focus here will be specifically on that one kid. You don't need to worry about Sportsnet and who they're showing.
Yeah.
All the media is now going to focus on the press conference and this kid, and they'll have him maybe in the community or something in that moment.
And you know this, you offer Oilers fans a choice between that or just the generalization of a draft floor. Oilers fans are picking the Oilers thing. We all like hockey's back, but it's Oilers. It's not hockey. There is the interest of, what are they talking about? But if you talk to Oilers fans and said you're going to have your day with all your picks here, or a handful, whatever it is, and you make it a carnival day here in the city just for Oilers, and we don't need to talk about the Devils or whomever, the Canucks, I think fans here would eat that up.
I think fans here would also eat up getting to go to the Rogers place and watch that draft with it. Like, I mean, we were probably due for a draft or soon.
Oh, supposed to.
Right?
Everything.
And you could still,
All star
and
the
the
whole
thing is,
thing.
you still could do that.
Yeah.
People could still come, and you just don't have the full floor, right? You just don't have all the teams, all 32 tables set up for the teams.
Yeah.
So
You're staring at the big screen instead of watching the chaos on the floor and all the ants run around, dig their holes.
you'll still get the
There'd be
cameras in
something
the
I've never.
war room,
You've been
like
to a
camera.
draft.
I've been to one.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
But you were covering it. Were you on the floor? Were you up in the stands?
I was
Were
on
you-
the floor. And
Yeah.
the
So did you get
media
time to,
area
like,
and
watch?
stuff.
Were you working?
I was
Were you-
there mostly to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to just experience it and see what it's like. So I went Philly draft.
I'd like to see one.
It's fun. It's now I experienced it more from the media side and
Yeah,
what
that's-
media is going to do with it. So I don't know what it's like
Up in the-
as a city. Like if the draft came, because they don't actually know where the draft is this year. I know they're trying to go to.
interesting.
Well, they're trying to go to Vegas,
maybe.
but they don't have a venue for Vegas because
Gary, are you
T-Mobile. I think T-Mobile
Do it in the Sphere.
has. There's talk of trying to get into the Sphere.
Wouldn't that
for
be
something?
something? What do you
Yeah.
put on the What do you put on the
Interesting.
Sphere when you're doing the draft?
Actually, UFC's going to the Sphere.
of course.
Yes.
They're planning that. That was announced this past weekend.
Yes.
Maybe that's where you do the NHL awards or something.
Why not? Vegas
try.
loves the league. The league loves Vegas. It's a nice fit.
I do want to go see the Sphere.
It's losing money hand over fist, is it not?
Yeah.
Should we put an advertise? Should we help them out a bit?
And
With
I
our
also want to
flesh
go back to
EST
Vegas
cup-
with you,
Well,
Eric.
Yeah, that was a
Sorry.
fun trip.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
had to work the morning show with Dave.
Remember-
And
remember
this
we
guy's
called in?
calling me. You didn't even sleep.
We were in a food court.
But yeah, you just all of a sudden we at the radio station we had a little
Hot 100 makes it
hotline.
tough to sleep.
We had a hotline that only certain people knew the number to, and all of a sudden it's ringing. Me and Dave are doing the morning show.
You guys were great, by the way. Fantastic.
And
we
also-
were listening before we called.
We
had the phone on. We
pick
were
up,
sitting in the
and
food
it's
court.
Eric, and he's wanting to talk to me, and then you're handing the phone over
Open
to
line.
people,
Yeah.
and I'm tryring to do a morning show here, and
We were all very
and then,
excited.
it's
Were
like-
you on that phone call too? Yeah.
Was that the one from New York, New York?
Then I asked if you want to go on the air. You're like, nope.
No, I didn't need to do that.
You want to know? You know, I was a little annoyed with you on that one.
I believe it.
Well, not for the call, because
Well, I'm in Vegas. It's
believe
6
it.
a.m.
It's
I'm
not
up.
that-
I'm partying. You're working. I understand
the morning listeners rip me a lot on you.
I
guys'
forgive
show,
you.
but you forgive me.
Well, for getting upset with me. I totally understand.
No,
It's not your fault.
It's one. You didn't leave me everything.
Matthew, it's not your fault.
It's-
I did what?
But you didn't leave me everything.
Ah, damn
but
it.
there was this one time, like, so what happened was, when we did kind of easy trivia,
Yeah.
Dustin handled everything when you're with him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He
Right.
handled the ticker. He
played
handles
the
club
club
beat
beat,
loop.
yeah.
He handles whatever you guys play if it's a loss,
Yeah.
all of that. When he's gone, I think you played it for Dave.
Or Tom.
But so
it got kind of messy sometimes. But
so Dave never had to do it.
Yeah.
You didn't leave me this stuff.
oh, damn.
So like Dave would do kind of easy trivia. I found the ticker, I played it, and then it ended. And people were ripping me. Where's Club Beat Loop, Matt? And they were coming at me for not having Club Beat Loop. I'm like, I didn't know I need Club Beat Loop. Like, what? I don't know. Where is it? And I couldn't
So
find
they won,
it.
though.
The person won, but I didn't have anything to play after that.
'Cause I was,
And then people are ripping me because I didn't have anything for it to play, and they're thinking I'm the biggest like tool. And Dave's looking at me like, "Where's Club Beat Loop?" I'm like, "What am I supposed? Like, I don't know. Am I supposed to play something here?" And so yeah.
Well, and I forgive you for getting upset with that. But I will say, too, like, the one time, because when I always filled in, too, I never had the Roseanne. And then the one time somebody failed, and I didn't have the Roseanne queued up either.
Right, it's the Roseanne.
You get caught with your pants down in those situations. But again,
That was pre-Roseanne, I think, when we were
I think it was. We didn't have, she wasn't, I don't even think she
See,
did
that's
that thing yet.
Connor's. That was Connor's birthday, right?
21st birthday.
Yes.
Tom Vernon was there for that game. He told us yesterday. I don't think with you guys.
Tom, there were lots
Tom
of people
Vernon
on
and
it.
his.
yeah.
I think he said his
Edmonton was
brother
there.
were there.
Was it the
for that
maiden
game.
voyage for the
was the
Oilers
first
down
one?
there? I think, yeah, it was. Yeah. It was, and you and I don't have to preach to you, but that place was
Lit.
just,
We can still say that.
the beer
I'm an old
house,
dude. Beer house.
prior. Yeah. I mean, that was Oilers Central. That was a fun day. The weather was nice. this is a great weekend from what I remember.
My favorite part of hanging out at Beer House with you guys and that was happening there was how prevalent it became that Edmonton Oilers fans hate the Flames.
Oh.
Do you remember it started where people would, because we were there for like 2 hours before the game, and people would start walking by slowly on their way to the arena with the Vegas Knights jerseys, and every single time a Knight jersey would walk by, that entire bar, "Let's go Oilers," would start. And what was it, about 3 or 4 chants in? "Let's go Oilers, Calgary sucks."
Yeah.
Flames suck chants. in
You
the
just
middle of
pile on,
Vegas.
yeah.
And,
You love something, you also hate something, so you combine the two, and it's a perfect. That was a good weekend.
Fun.
And just again,
From what I remember.
you can go down to multiple Oilers games in Vegas, and it's probably always. But the first
there's nothing
blush
I'll beat that.
was we took those 2 listeners; those guys were gems, the Roland brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just.
That's as much as I can say about that trip right there. So you brought up the brothers, and all of a sudden I want to zip it. So I'm not
Lieutenant
sure
Eric
why.
Dash from Oilers Live, Heavy Hockey Network, 5 o'clock today, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Matt Iwanyk with you here on the EST Hangout, presented by Mott's Clamato Caesar, which we're enjoying. How's the pickled bean going?
Fantastic.
It's delicious, yeah. I like this one better than the original. I'd say they're both great, but
Couple quick things I want to get to
me a
before
pickle.
then. Something that's just also breaking that's a little deeper.
Dorsey got fired again.
No, this one's a little deeper than that. But Surveyor Brett saying the SOS was stay Oilers stay, by the way. And also would like to give out a shout to Ty Jordan from X92 in Calgary.
Big Ty.
He sent me a picture of him watching us in Calgary. Actually, just referenced him a little bit. I don't know
Let's
if he
get him up for
noticed,
the
but
hangout,
actually, I haven't talked to him about that.
Summer months.
I'll have to tell him next
He'll be
time he's
back.
in Edmonton. We'll have to get him on the
sure.
hangout. He'd be fun to talk to.
Basketball
he
guy.
Really's gone all in on the Cavalry with CPL.
I know.
He's all in on
He's
that.
a hooligan.
We did say people in Calgary listen to Oilers.
Well,
talk
and
more
he's
than-
local.
Well, and
he's
he's a
from town.
transplanted,
He's moved there because they can't
secret
get
agent.
proper radio hosts in Calgary. They have to take those from Edmonton. So Ty and Mariah, they're on X92.9 in Calgary. If you're down there listening, Ty, if you're still watching, thanks for tuning in.
Hi, Ty.
But now this is Dusty just sending me this. So this is as per Rick Westhead.
Oh, jeez.
So this
I know where you're going here.
you saw this.
Today's the day?
A man has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter after the death of Adam Johnson.
Oh, my God.
So Adam Johnson, former Penn who passed away in England's Nottingham with the skate cutting the neck.
Yeah.
Player has actually been arrested for this. So
Manslaughter, right?
Manslaughter.
Involuntary, or is that included on the?
I'm just looking at the story
not a
right now.
lawman, but
I'm trying to see if it just says on suspicion of manslaughter. So I don't know fully what that means.
we should have Matt Carmel on the
Matt
show
Carmel,
tomorrow on the big show.
Is he going to be?
and
Yes,
I would
that's
assume
gonna
so
be
that he'll be.
it's-
He has an article up on Forbes about it, but
We saw that investigation was underway after that occurred. It was like you watch that play that
it's not natural.
that's not anything we've ever seen. I don't think in
no,
hockey.
and you can argue
not
it's a slip
natural-
from that you can't
Yeah.
copy 1,000 times, but even that
It didn't seem like
It was odd.
it was very odd. And
was he going out for murder? I doubt it.
No.
But he does have a bit of a past
the-
with dirty play, shall we say? I can't comment on any specifics. So this is the due diligence, and they've taken their time to investigate it, and that's the.
Interesting.
yeah, we'll see where that goes from here. But yeah, just a tragedy all around.
Well, it's
with this, and
unfortunate.
just
It's-
gonna-
again, I don't
the
think there's
story
any
now is
intent,
there.
but-
Rick Westhead having that story that an arrest of a man on suspicion of manslaughter.
So meaning what? They'll probably bring him in for some questioning.
Well, he's been arrested.
Was
I
Brashear
don't
ever...
It's on number sure,
Not Brashear, but Sorley? Like, I know
Or
there
that
was
one.
criminal
And I don't know, like
charges, but-
UK law. I just don't know.
Well, that and it's all, and this is where we're going to need Matt Carmella
Yes.
tomorrow with the Nielsen ship. 'Cause
Yes.
I don't know how that would go in courts. Like how do you prove that this isn't just a hockey player? That this didn't just happen. Like, and I know for
I don't think
us,
you
we sit
can.
here as hockey fans and we say we've seen enough hockey in our lives to go, never seen any player do something like that.
it's a very random
It's a
sport
very
with ice
weird
and
thing,
blades,
but
and you
it's
can
a
fall any
very
which way.
random sport.
But we haven't seen
And
this.
I don't know how you
Dynamic and-
convict that in a court of law.
Other than
even
him
for-
saying, I tried to kick him in the neck.
yes.
I don't know how you could.
So that's going to be something to keep development, to keep an eye on. The net guard. Did you used to play hockey still? Mm-hmm. Did you net guard?
I don't, but I've been thinking about it.
Did this cause you to think about it a little bit?
Evander Kane's incident made me go out and buy
Yeah.
The Kevlar?
the
Like, are there
Kevlar
any other
wrist
like
bands.
optional equipment that you've like anything else? I mean, is it besides the neck guard? I know the Kevlar.
I've got Kevlar socks underneath my skates.
Okay.
I wear Kevlar wristbands now.
So you're not
just in
messing
case.
around. Like, it's
Why would you, man?
Good
you got
point,
A
yeah.
4-year-old at home, right? I mean,
absolute.
That's ultimately
Yeah.
what it
You're
comes
not
down
covered
to.
by playing these games, right? Insurance. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
you go out on your own whim.
Yeah.
For a wreck, you shouldn't be putting your
Life
on the
or
line.
whatever it is, right? So, I mean, anything can happen at any time. And,
Yeah.
you know, the lower level of hockey, the more chaos that happens because
Yep.
people aren't in the right spots, and that just causes more unexpected situations and collisions. And, but you know what? They make neck guards pretty comfortable now. When I was a kid and it was like Mario Lemieux's turtleneck, it was, you
We've
know,
come a long way.
come along.
yeah.
Right? So,
I think it was Jermaine Franklin who tweeted that he started wearing one, and after the first, like after you put it on and you get out there, you forget.
You're thinking probably
forget.
a lot of other things while you're out there. Rec or pro, it doesn't matter. You're out there trying to do something, and I don't think that's too impetitive.
I get why pros aren't doing it fully. Like, I get that there's that feeling of this is how I play at my best, you know, type thing, and it should be grandfathered in, and this is your living. I think for everyone else, like there does come a point where you should everyone that plays any sort of rec league should be having these conversations.
to avoid
because it's-
incidents such as that's the
you
only
just
thing.
don't want
It's
that.
not about control or anything.
No, it's
Well, no,
not.
but that's people. Whenever there's a
Yes,
rule implemented, we
100%.
go to that. Now.
I've never had a hangout where there's been so much news coming.
just get it.
Well, this is now
Yeah,
Leon
yeah.
Draisaitl's been fined $5,000. Max allowable on the CBA for a dangerous trip on Bo Horvat.
Okay.
oh, wow.
Was
I think
that the
Tommy and
cross-check
Joaquin were
play?
talking last night, and they said nothing was
Leon Draisaitl
cross-check to the back of the legs or whatever it was.
McDavid.
So yeah, but he gets the $5,000 fine. And I'm just saying, Frank Saravalli says Colin Campbell says GM's discussing the idea of changing rule to limit teams from continually looping back and regrouping in 3-on-3. Potential
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
solution: once you cross red or blue line, you can't go back out again.
Oh, wow.
Or a shot clock. Discussions ongoing. Tabled
baby.
I
to
wouldn't
March.
hate a shot clock.
In 3-on-3.
Yeah. That'll add some drama.
You're talking change again in hockey,
Oh,
boys. This
this
is a
sounds
dangerous hangout here. We're making glad there.
Like he's going with
I know,
let's
he's-
get rid of the draft.
He's changing the game.
Now he's all in on the
Hey,
shot clock.
Changing the game.
Think about Nurse looping back.
Yeah,
with
yeah, but let's-
10
let's-
seconds left on the shot clock, knowing that he's got to get through that zone. And now, how are the defense? That's going to change the entire dynamic.
And sorry, that's
'cause they're gonna-
3-on-3. Is this?
That's
Yeah.
during 3-on-3.
They're gonna force
So
some
what,
pinch
I'm assuming this is
instead,
like a
and-
lacrosse where if
Yeah,
it
you're kinda-
whistle, you then just shoot it in the corner and you skate back or something, and then the team gets the puck.
like bonus
or something.
time.
Like,
over
Yeah.
and back in basketball, you know, like a,
did they stop the
Just
play and you just
blow
get
the
the
whistle.
puck and hear?
it's like Tim Hortons hockey. Here, take it in
Here's
the
the
corner,
puck.
A goal counts as 2.
right?
You want to speak of soccer? The regrouping is soccer. I like in soccer. The play will go forward.
Yes.
If teams aren't liking it, they'll sometimes bring it back. All of a sudden,
Just to keep possession and regroup.
keep possession,
and
regroup, go back forward. And that's what I feel like 3-on-3 is when we see this, is they're just regrouping to come forward. I don't know
You'll
if
lose some of the speed, I think, right? Like, you know, it's like
of the regrouping.
Yeah. Well,
think of it when they're on the power play and they do that little hitch pass, right? They're bringing it up and boom, they drop it back 8 feet. The only reason for that is so that Connor can hit the blue
Yes.
line at top speed. Well, you can only you wouldn't be able to hitch past the red line anymore. So now
Yeah.
right? So it like starts to change the dynamic and crunches things down. I think you're going to take some speed.
I know,
out
are they
of
wanting more
3-on-3.
speed in the game? That's kind of the Americanization of
I think
hockey.
this
right
takes
now,
away
is what you-
excitement from
But
the
it
game.
take exactly.
Excitement,
think
but in a
this
different sense,
rule-
you're slowing it down, but you're putting that excitement into one corner of the
Slowing it
ice,
down,
and
but adding drama.
It's here, like it's.
I feel like this is gonna take away offense.
It might.
Because one of the things that happens when you regroup is sometimes you
probably
get
will.
that because the ice is so big and there's less players now on it. And if you got Connor and Leon going back regrouping, Connor gets to build that speed again through the whole ice to take it down. And that might lead to rush. And if they go down the ice and mess up, then there's that rush the other way, 2-on-1 or whatever. If you're now saying, okay, we crossed the red line, let's say, now you can't go back the red line or you lose the puck possession. I don't know. I think now this becomes more defensive. I think now the coaches are going to be more defensive with things, and it's
Wait for it to come to you, and then
But if it's a shot clock, you're going to try and force opportunities.
yeah.
But how long are you going to do a shot? Overtime's only 5 minutes.
Yeah, good point. What's that?
So we're going to do a 30-second shot
seconds,
clock, a
right?
15-second
Yeah.
shot
Right.
clock?
Oh, boy.
Does the shot clock only count when you cross the red line then? Or is it like once you
should.
get...
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right in that time
say-
frame of a.
Let's use the red line as this. I would then remove the blue line in overtime 3-on-3. I would say there's no
Like no
offside
offsides
then.
anymore.
There's no offside. The red line is it.
So it's
If
just
there's
the
a
red line in
shot
play.
clock now, why do
Half
we have
and
an
half.
offside?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that is the offside now. You with this whole red line
Exactly,
rule,
yeah,
that would be
yeah,
your
right,
modified
right.
offside. And yeah,
Because
that
then,
could-
like, if it's I'm going to let you cross the red line because you're going to have possession. The clock's going to start, but I'm going to make sure you don't cross that blue line. You're going to
Yeah.
struggle to get through the zone. And also, I just have to worry about the clock.
Yeah.
I just have to worry about the countdown so that if it's 24 seconds or whatever,
Yeah.
as long as you only get in with like 3 seconds, you're not getting a real shot off and it's going to be my puck. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just want to see this play out in some sort of
Hockey fans
I just
not
want to see
gonna
the
like it.
behind
comments.
closed
I'm sure we've-
doors.
I'm sure we've peaked on
Oh, boy.
what a bunch of asshats in the hangout
Yeah, yeah.
here comments, but I don't know. Changing the game, you know?
Next thing, we want them
I
in
think
full
this is
cages,
from
eh?
Big Uke. OT should also then just be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Keep it as is. Make it 10 minutes from Kelly. BW says it should be a shot clock in OT. No one's called us an
We're
idiot
onto
yet.
something.
So there's that.
Any
so
other-
that's good. There's lots of time for that one. But no, that's... Well, I'll say this one thing for hockey, though. It's very different thinking.
It's got us talking.
Why
Whether or not they do any of these
never
changes,
think
at
this
least it's
wild.
Yeah,
we may not
publicly,
like it in
yeah.
the end, or some people may not like it, but they're thinking something really different here. I never would have pictured the idea that one day we'd be talking about a potential shot clock in any sort of part of hockey.
Right.
But here we are.
If it gets rid of the shootout, I think for most people, hey,
Right. Yeah. There you go.
they'll get rid of the. We'll abolish the draft if
Yeah.
it means we get rid of the shootout. You know, like
We're going to
we're
the
going to cut
negotiation
10
table.
franchises as long as we get rid of that damn shootout.
I love you, Eric.
I'm
love you
really
too.
just like a shot clock in hockey.
Oh boy,
Is the shooter really that bad?
what's the sound when the shot clock goes off?
Each team should come up with their own.
I know, wouldn't that be fun? Columbus has the cannon.
Well, do they just fire off the cannon every time?
Yeah, again, like, what the
Shock
hell?
everyone.
Yeah.
The visitors come in.
That's ways to make things a lot unique and
Vegas
fun.
just
I
starts
just-
cranking
yeah, you know,
on.
Vegas could do. Yeah, that work that Roenick does or something. So it was gonna
One text does say that Dash was a beer league superstar.
was.
It says was. It doesn't say is.
Yikes.
Was a beer league.
You had your day.
Dash wore more gear playing slow pitch. Ask him. He was in a suit of armor and ball. This coming in from Tommy T. Is that true?
Aw,
Suit of
Tommy,
armor.
I miss you, bud. Yeah, it might be true.
How much armor? What did you put on during slow pitch?
I don't know. There might
Same
be
guy.
a line driver coming back
Yeah.
as I was pitching or something. I don't know.
You dressed like cricket. Yeah, full mask and everything. You,
Put my hockey gear on. Tommy's lying. I don't know. I love him, but he's a liar.
What, do you still
idiot.
play slow pitch?
No, it hasn't been slow pitch. In fact, the last season I played was with Tommy, and I believe we went undefeated. And let's just say that the competition probably wasn't all that high because I went 40 for 40 that season. I literally batted 1,000.
Seriously?
Yeah.
so you
See,
went out
now-
on top
The
eh?
entire
It's like,
season.
I'm known for
like, I'm
striking
never
out at
playing again.
times. I've
Oh.
been known to strike. I'm that guy. I'm
No.
terrible at
you
batting.
go down looking, or are you just swinging like first three pitches? You're like
never
going
looking
hog
on the
wild,
third
like
strike.
Never
Dragon Ball.
looking. Never looking.
looking.
It's always just messing. I swing too fast. My brain goes like, swing, and I go way too fast.
See, I
and the
can see
ball's
you
like,
up there working the pitcher, like we're
Oh,
on.
no, okay,
you're
hold
getting
up.
that pitch count going, and you're
Straight up, I do. I start that way.
You don't even want to get on
But you
base. Your
always
whole
swing. You
thing
can
is to
never
work
go
the
for
pitch.
the, like, I do try to get the walk at times. Every so
yeah.
often. No, see, the strategy
frown
is,
at you.
I don't care.
Strategy is-
You put the female behind you,
Yes.
so it's the double walk.
Matthew Iwanyk, money ball.
Here
Everybody
we
here.
go.
Slow pitch, money
Money
ball.
ball slow pitch here. Won a title in ESSC.
Won a title. There you go. Speaks for itself.
Was it ESSC you played or something else? Or like a legit beer league type slow pitch?
Oh, for slow pitch. Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Well, it
wasn't. It was not long ago.
To be honest, yeah.
Do you know what's fun? Dodgeball. As an adult.
Are you in a league?
I used to be.
Get out of here. So it's like
Edmonton Sport
Thanks
Social
for the
Club.
invite.
Edmonton Sport Social Club, like they do
Yeah.
all sorts of things. And we used to do our slow pitch team actually.
Yeah,
we'd play summer slow pitch, fall slow pitch, and then in the winter we'd go play dodgeball.
So what's your dodgeball schedule like during winter season? Like if
You play
somebody
once a week.
Once a week?
You play once a week for an hour.
1 hour. Once a
1
week.
hour,
You,
you
practice
play-
if you want. No.
Well, I guess
somebody's-
we did it
somebody's
once.
gotta
Like a
throw wrenches
CBA.
at
Well, no,
them?
but is there like a you guys
No,
can't
no.
be together more than 6 hours a week? Eh?
No, it's nothing like that.
Can I volunteer to throw wrenches at you guys? If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
I'm intrigued with that.
It works your body. Like
Yeah.
you don't realize it when you first go do it again. You're like, holy crap! The next day,
But it's like
I'm-
elementary school
everything's
fun.
working.
You're
It-
kinda-
it's
you're not
and it's-
working.
You can
Yeah.
go for the head.
Okay, yeah.
You know, otherwise, like you go off, and it's
Penalty.
like it's just a bunch of mini games. You just play a game until one team's standing, then you just keep doing that over and over. There's a halftime, and you just keep going and going. Unless, is it at half or is it at any point of the game? If you've won 8, if you're up by 8,
Okay.
it's over. You win mercy.
So did they do
But
like a
then it's close.
traditional way, or are there different variations that you can like? Because
The way I
dodgeball
play,
is
so it's been years since I
regional.
played ESSC, but it was 6 on the court, It was co-ed, so you have to have minimum 2 girls.
Okay.
If you only had one, you lose a guy, I think.
Okay.
So I think it would be 4 and 1.
You can play a
You
person
can't have-
short if you. Okay.
Or does that work? No, 3 and 1, I think. So you could play one girl short, but
Okay.
you'd lose someone.
Okay. But just standard
And-
rules.
or no,
There's no like.
no, you still have the 4 guys, but you don't get to put a 6th person on the court. That's I think how it worked. And yeah, it's just you
growing
can't go for the head.
Well, we had
but if unless I think it was if you're crouched down, it's your fault.
Do you
Don't
have like
crouch
mats
down.
for like hiding and stuff? Like
No,
yeah.
soap and gym. And it was always different because you'd play in different
no.
gyms.
Like paintball.
No, we set up the gym. You could cross the line. It was like guerrilla warfare. And you're running around the gym and there's mats set up in different ways and you're
stack of
crawling under
tires.
things and it was like, oh my God. And
Hiding in them.
yeah.
Well, but the thing is, it also depended what gym you're at. Some gyms you were
Ah.
close. So like those ones, it's like if you could just drill people.
It's
Some
like
gyms,
old-time
they
hockey,
felt
hey?
like you're
Dimensions and
farther
everything,
away.
right?
Well, you're
going to the
farther
girls'
away. You're further away, so you really have to get close
Sure.
to the line to get a good throw in, which then leaves you vulnerable. And my strength was catching.
Good catcher, eh?
I was a good catcher. You throw one at me, I was like
You're nabbing anything.
I was
in your
a
general.
lot. My
picking 'em out of the air.
flaw was if you threw near my feet, that's where I struggled. I couldn't get my feet out of the way or something. Or Judge went to jump
try
or
to, like,
whatever.
kick it
I
up?
got knocked out a lot by my feet.
Need more airtime.
Man, I don't know. It was bad.
You
It
got
was
to go to
fun.
the
We should
black.
do it once.
Got to go black shoes, smaller.
They do
some
tournament
less
pumps,
visual.
maybe?
Yeah.
We should put an Edmonton Sports Talk team in for a tournament once.
Sign me up. Sign me up. I'll start training
I'm
today.
a friend of EST.
Yeah, of
Yeah, you're
course.
gonna be a
a friend
ringer.
of
We'll
Dodgeball.
ring
We
you
just
in.
need to
yeah.
find a couple females,
Easy.
and then boom, we should go on one of those
I'm
tournaments.
down.
My team got
We
in
have
a
tons of time, don't we, Maddie?
We got in a big fight with another team,
And
at
then
one
you
of
got
the
kicked out.
tournaments.
Is that?
The game got almost canceled, and I was the captain, so I was like, and I talked the ump down. I was like, okay, like we could keep going or something. And then my buddy was out, and he just all of a sudden turned and just drilled some guy in the head, and then walked off the court. And I was like, yeah, we're done.
And the team disbanded after that. Like that was their.
No, my
Funny
team,
how his mouth auto-corrected Dusty to my friend.
I need.
it wasn't
yeah,
Dusty.
Well, he's
Dusty
been
was-
hanging around. Dusty.
It was we disbanded because it all started kind of around my cousin, but then he moved to Calgary, and then it slowly fizzled.
But you were the
apart.
captain. You couldn't keep this together, eh?
I tried. Well, it was,
it
the
was
cousin was the glue, and I tried keeping people together, and then slowly fizzled away. And then we had these two girls.
Infighting, disciplinary
Well,
issues. You know, lack of accountability.
We had these 2 girls who were like
Failing
best of
leadership
friends.
group.
Yes.
But one girl was dating the other girl's brother, and then
Man, and you're the captain of all this.
this was like right as it was taking over, Kev. But then she broke up with her brother and started dating someone else, and then so those 2 started hating each other. So we lost them, and it just all collapsed from there.
It's-
So that's the story of my
Man, oh man,
dodgeball
I
slow
need the
pitch career.
E60.
We were a good team.
We should have started this at
we
the
were-
beginning of the
This is how
Hangout.
it
We were
starts.
a
We
good
were a
team.
good team.
We were great.
And then the music
We
hits
were-
and the credit. You know, we were a good team.
But we were hated. We were absolutely hated.
And then it starts.
Well, and that's
This is the story of.
that's the thing with dodgeball too, though, is there's a lot of aggression,
Yes.
but you can't. Like there's a line you can't cross,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can't go for the head. That if something starts simmering, it reaches a boiling point at one point. And my team always we were.
Oh, you can't go for the head.
My team was
That's
a-holes.
what's stopping
happens
you
when you
from
take
going to
fighting
the
out of
head.
hockey.
I had a bunch of a-holes on my team. I'll admit it. We were terrible. I couldn't control them.
But you need a bit
And
of
it was-
sandpaper in the dodgeball
Oh,
team,
yes.
do you not? You got to. You can't be a team
Even
of
in
choir
slow
boys and
pitch.
gals.
Even in slow pitch,
Yeah, you do.
Team, you want that. You want that swagger.
Everybody has.
We had the swagger. That's what it was.
God, I love this. You are narrating your E60. We did good. And then it all came down. We had the swagger.
These quotes will be used on the 30 for
soft
30.
piano, you know what I mean? Like it's.
We just need some B-roll
God,
of it. We just
yeah.
need some film.
Trev,
So we'll get on that. We should do a dodgeball tournament once, though.
I'm in,
Join
man.
in.
Sign me up. Even if it's a
have
one
to
and
find-
done, like we can kind of in and out.
Oh,
one
it's
day.
well, no, it's like it's a day thing. It's an all-day thing.
No, I know,
Like we're
but
going
if-
for a Saturday.
But if we only need to do one, not
One
the
game?
league. I would do a
No,
game.
no, yeah,
I would
no.
do a quarter. Do they
Oh,
do quarters, halves? What is it? What's
Wait,
the
no,
time?
you would like you would do a day,
I would do a day.
like an all-day thing, or just one game in the day.
Tournament?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a tournament, but it's a
Really?
day event.
So I thought there was league night.
There's leagues.
So
but
they have an in-season tournament? Did they nip this for the NBA? I love this. The NBA is copying Edmonton social dodgeball here.
social club.
They got it. And it's been a model they've been following for years, and boys have been working just extremely well. We're going to implement it.
In-season
You got
tournament.
personal courts as well. Did we get personal courts? An EST court? Man, that'd be dope.
It's actually not by where my tournament was. Wasn't by far from where you live. St. FX. We're in that gym.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
JP Bull.
I never thought of these, but yeah, no, there's in-season tournaments.
Look, I'm dead
It's like-
serious. If you want to do this, sign me up. I'll be.
me
What
see
are
if
the
I-
positions?
Actually, Emmett Sport and Social Club, I
I'll be a
learned this
winger.
last year. They also have now like a winter golf league, virtual golf
that'd be
league, which
nice.
is incredible.
There's some really good virtual golf things popping up all over the place now. Like the
All
technology's getting
over
yeah.
the place.
Well, there's better ways to just keep fit during the. I mean, rec hockey is one thing, but if you don't want to go to the thing at 11:30 and
yeah.
all this,
Do they not do
hockey's fun?
dodgeball
But there's
anymore?
bowling. I mean, Hank Schutz, a good friend of ours, a big bowler. I mean, dodgeball, all these things that are just ball hockey even.
Their
Yeah.
website doesn't show dodgeball tournaments anymore. They have bowling, curling, slow pitch, snow pitch, spike ball, volleyball, but nothing for dodgeball.
I'd get in the volleyball game again as well. I know Dusty retired and he went out on top, but I'd take my
Who's
hand
in
at that.
dodgeball that I know recently?
I can
think
bump
Trev
set and
plays
spike.
volleyball.
Yeah, he does. He's
Yeah.
a
Also, Vav played.
he did. Yeah,
Yeah,
loved it.
Vav was into it.
That's too
That
bad.
doesn't
We
look
should-
like a tournament.
maybe
I'll have to go
maybe
look.
this is our chance to.
We start the
Bring it
EST
back.
dodgeball tournament.
Annual.
We could do it at Shanks.
On all the friends of. Yeah. And now my idea of more of a guerrilla warfare. You're going up top,
Just open up the whole
dropping
place.
from the second level down.
Put a little like paint on the ball so that when you get hit, it's noticeable.
Yeah. Headshots are encouraged.
There are some leagues that are like that.
Extra points. Well, why not?
Don't get
nuts.
hit in the head.
Yeah.
Dodge, dick, dive, dodge. I don't know what it is. It's
Duck,
the 5Ds.
dive, dodge, duck. I just say we break into Shanks. We don't even ask permission. It can be like the ECW of
board
dodgeball.
it up. They won't see
No,
us
we'd
in
be
there.
smoking cigarettes. We'd be doing
Dive,
anything we
dodge,
want.
dip, duck, dodge. The 5Ds
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
dodgeball.
There you go.
Patches over
Some
hand,
export A
baby.
greens.
Just
Bring some Clamato,
a
Caesar.
little rough.
some
you know?
Clamato.
Yeah,
Lots
of
crack
Clamato
these on
Caesar.
Expo. Boom, let's go. Boom.
That's your
dodgeball.
pre-game drink?
Put on TSN 5.
Whoa.
It's the Ocho, baby. Got to get
Well,
TSN
whatever,
going.
yeah.
Oh, it started. We'll put it on our YouTube channel.
If you want to start a team or even a league or some sort of intramural, the Friends of EST, we could have an Edmonton Sports Talk Dodgeball League and get the friends. Eric Thomas could fly in once a week. Get a team of race buddies and then we'd fly him back out again or whatever it is.
Yeah. This.
I'm dreaming.
No, this is going to be this. You mentioned it with the Dusty on the morning show today. The Arizona losing $240
$240
million.
The athletic department.
They just
miscalculations.
miscalculated fun. That's and I was saying to you and JMO yesterday in our chat, like that's going to be us one day. We're going to somehow miscalculate $240 million.
I have no access
and
to the
all of a
books,
sudden
let it be
there's going to
known.
be these huge story when
Can I
Edmonton
volunteer to
Sports
be
up
your
broke.
accountant?
And that's going to be because we've done things like this. We're flying people
Yeah.
in for a dodgeball tournament. We're like, oh, we thought we had the funds
Manny's
for
moving
it.
to the Virgin Islands here. He's just off and nobody knows. Nobody hears from him again.
You have a private jet. You might as well use it.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it flies me wherever it is, and then that's it. Doesn't go anywhere else. It
One
stays there.
destination. Yeah. No return
I'll
flight.
push it into the ocean.
Yeah.
So no one can
Evidence
catch it or
gone.
find it.
Yeah.
And then
You can start your own dodgeball league.
I'll
and-
have this
on
massive
your own
beard.
island. Yeah. With all your Arizona memorabilia.
Who knew Hernan Salas knew how to fly planes? For you guys to
Oi.
have a private pilot and a PJ like that? Like,
He's a guy you need on that dodgeball team. He's a first round. He's a first round selection, eh?
I think our
You're
team
getting
is
everything.
called the Latino Heat.
You're getting an arm. You're
Oh,
getting a good catcher. You're
Well, that's
getting the
a good team
attitude,
name
right?
for this.
Like,
Latino Heat team name.
Quickly,
straight to the hall.
Book it.
EST store. Speaking of funds,
Speaking of having money to burn, can you please buy some merch?
We have the EST pop-up shop. It's only open until tomorrow. So the 2 days for it. Head to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Go to the very top. EST shop is right there. You click that. Again, tomorrow is the last day to purchase.
I'm putting it in order today.
Perfect. All orders will be shipped or before or on December 15th. So we should have everything sent out by December 15th, if not a little bit sooner. So you should have everything, especially if you're in the Edmonton area, before Christmas. It's all thanks to our official merch partner, the Hive Product Marketing. Products that bring the buzz, the Hive Product Marketing.com. So again, last couple of days to get some of that merch. Today on Edmonton Sports Talk, it is Oilers Live, 5 o'clock. Any idea what's coming up on the show? You and Michael?
Well, I just found out we're on at 5 o'clock thanks to you.
Yes.
So
Well, thanks to him.
ultimately, I'm sure we'll have some people asking about the story that broke and ultimately the game last night and probably a little bit of a preview of what's going to happen on the road trip. So
You guys have broken a couple stories this season when it comes to Oilers in the offseason and this
Yeah.
one. So
yeah, we were first on the Gagne, first on Connor Brown. If you went into our heavy hockey editorials, we had a story that the scouting staff would be gone and fired. We predicted the analytics department being hired. So
Parketti?
these guys know what
there's,
they're doing.
so Some
wonder
some
what you
good
get
stuff
next.
at
Where
Heavy
can
Hockey.
people
next
find
get?
your stuff again?
Just go
Let's
to
get on them.
YouTube and subscribe. I would assume we're at 800
Click
an hour ago,
Click it.
so we must be 1,000 now.
Go search Heavy
Sub.
Hockey Network on YouTube. Hammer that subscribe button.
or Eric will
they're
come
great.
find you. Thank you.
He'll throw some dodgeballs at you. He's gonna come with the dodgeballs and
Yeah.
just whip them at you.
Yeah, right in
You're
the
not
head.
gonna expect it.
Headshot.
Maybe that's what we do. We just do a massive citywide dodgeball game, but it's random times.
You don't tell anybody.
You don't. You could get hit in any
Yeah.
moment.
Aisle
and you're
6
out.
of the grocery store. Bam! You're picking
You're
up
in
a jar
that
of pickles.
big
Bam!
presentation with your boss, and all of a sudden some guy walks in and whips one at you. You're out. Put little tags on everyone that says if you're in or not.
Go for the feet.
That's for
That's
me.
where it is.
That was my weak
he
spot.
can't
That's
do
why I
it.
was
Behind
following.
He
Gager,
just can't
he'll
do
give
it.
the old A and save everything in front of you. Or nothing in front of you.
I'm gonna get
He'd make it
destroyed. I'm gonna
entertaining.
miss it. He's gonna be blocking me because it's gonna get through and it's gonna nail me.
Right in the feet.
Maybe that's it. He'll actually be good because he can dodge you very easily.
Oh.
Boom, but I'm pumped. See, get
I see what you did there.
Sorry, Gager. I apologize. He'll
That's
be
a
on
good
with you
shot.
guys
That's
in
a
a
good
goalie. Dash, thanks for coming in. It was great
Thanks for
having
having
you.
me.
And well
Thanks for
done with
stirring up those
the
Vegas memories.
good job with the breaking news
Thanks.
from this past week.
Yeah,
Well
appreciate
done.
it. Thank you.
To you and Michael. Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk, edmontonsportstalk.com, as well as our YouTube channel. It is the Lock Shop. Dusty and Huss. They'll be on the air, and that's followed by two guys and a goalie. Dusty, Gager, Cass. They'll recap the Oilers game from last night. Look ahead to the game tomorrow against the Kraken. And like we've said, 5 o'clock, Oilers Live, Michael and Dash. They'll be on edmontonsportstalk.com or on our TuneIn channel. Eric, thanks for coming in on behalf of YouTube Trev,
Thank
Eric
you.
Dash, and myself, Matt Iwanyk. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.